here. We're back. I finished using the bathroom. Colleague has finished using the bathroom. We're here, and we got this black spot down here where there's some kind of secret collusion going on. But this week's episode 190, Living in La La Land, I think you guys will really have a good time in this week's episode. We're taking a break from the program series because I wanted to make sure it was thorough. All the information is available because this is going to be the final chapter on the program series. So to start off February,
what was the series title? Do you have a title, or what would it be if you gave it?
I was just telling people last year we're going to talk about all the ways that the government, the powers that be, are programming people. But next week's episode 191 is going to be called The Biopolitical Convergence.
You're saying that's going to be the final chapter of that series?
Yeah, that program. And I'm going to go into something else after that. Might go into the means of production, like the all kind of complexes that we have, the pharmaceutical complex, the military complex, and then integrate that into, now since everybody has the premises, the backgrounds of the PSYOPs, so how they control your mind, the structural behavioral control, how they control your physical activities, and then next week, the biopolitical convergence, how they are converting you as a human into the actual means of the engineering. So instead of trying to control you, they are just changing you. So now you just become the tool. Instead of changing you to believe, you just become the means instead of the end. And that's the final chapter. So I'm going to give out dates. I'm going to give out predictions. I'm going to give you what is going on right now. What's going to happen in the next 5 years, 10 years, and the next 20 years. So I'm going to lay out all this data as much as I possibly can. So then as time progresses, you can always come back to the video. So next week's going to be as slam pack as I possibly can to give you as much as I possibly can with that. But
are you going to give us a receipt for all that?
Oh yeah, I'm bringing everything.
Do you give out paper receipts?
I'm going to also put in the Discord all the dissertations, all the stuff that I use in that episode. There's a lot, so then people can go read it all for themselves. But this week's episode 190, Living in La La Land. I liked it. I think colleague likes it. It's a reminiscence to the older times where we just have a good time chatting with the guys, remembering this matrix we live in. It's really entertaining. You think you need streaming services. All you got to do is open your eyes, sit on a bench and just watch. Sometimes that could be more entertaining than any show that you can put on. And, so I think you guys will enjoy this week's episode as well.
I know, I always do.
Get rid of this incognito black box here.
Yeah. And, this next week's episode it's not a reminiscent video. It's not like we're reminiscing on stuff. It's just, it has some of the flavors that you would find in our beginning episodes.
There's an Asian man.
Secret Asian man.
I'm going to leave him there.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, he's been here before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Fu Shuang. What do we call that? Shang Fu? No.
Feng Shui.
Yeah, Feng Shui. And it's like the way things have to be orientated.
Yeah, if it ain't feng.
I've only had about 30 minutes of sleep, so I'm slightly delusional at this point. So take it for what it is. It's probably going to be more entertaining than normal. My brain does hyperfixate a lot more, but right now it feels very disorganized, so it's probably going to be a lot more entertaining than structural. Yeah, but colleagues, he's on cue right there.
Yeah, I've had like 6 hours of sleep. A lot more than 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, usually I sleep 4 hours a day. That's optimal for me. I'm not recommending that for anybody else. Yeah, I'm not a doctor. None of that. Sleep is good. Whatever. I'm not going to go into all that. But for me, 4 hours is optimal. When I go to 6 hours, I feel groggy. I feel slow. I go under 4 hours, I feel delusional. My brain starts hyperfixating on too many things. It's like ADD on massive scale. 4 hours is perfect, but 30 minutes, yeah, no, that's toilet time.
I got off work last night around 11:30. Got home, tried to go to bed around 12. And my son started crying, because he's a tender little guy, but he still wets the bed. So, he actually wet the bed, and I had to go change all that, clean him up.
I see Ted B. He said sort of the drunken matrix. Now it's kind of like what do they call that Chinese food? Drunken chicken or something?
Drunken noodles.
Yeah, drunken noodles.
Well, Jackie Chan made a movie called The Drunken
Spider.
The
Drunken Dragon.
Or Drunken, I don't remember what it was called. Drunken something. Something. I'm sure.
The Drunken Pumpkin.
That'd be a fun movie to watch. It'd be like Spaceballs.
Yeah, I like that. The integration between Space Jam and those we talk about this week, these secret sewing gills. You got to watch out for those sewing gills all over out there quilting. Yeah, I don't even know the correlation, but it's something out there. Man, it's slow, man. I'm usually quick with those banters and correlations. Man, it is slow right now.
Well, you don't have to shoot from the hip.
Well, it's just natural, but I could just feel it. There's like a billion thoughts, and usually they connect some way, even though they're not connected. But right now, everything's just obscure. It's like, boom. It's like, yeah. Where's the connect? I don't know. Just say this thing over here, too. I was like, yeah, okay.
And just flow with it.
It's whatever. It's weird. Like I'm actually looking inside my head.
Well, David Zerm says topics. He says Scott Ritter, former UN weapons inspector, got debanked by FBI from trying to build ties between U.S. and Russia. Oh, that's cool. He's putting all these in encrypted codes. And he says, like what they did in Canada with those truckers.
Yeah, I have an article here from businessreport.company. And it says, yes, on January 16th, 2026, Scott Ritter, which is a former U.S. Marine Corps intelligence officer. Wow, I'm third base. Stated that Citizen Bank, his financial institution for 26 years, unilaterally closed his accounts and zeroed out his balances without a specific explanation. Ritter's allegations. He believes that not a random bank decision, but a default result of the FBI's interference. He suspects the FBI, who has been investigating him, may have tipped off the banks about suspicious activity. Ritter admits that he has been making large cash withdrawals to fund his trips to Russia. Since his U.S. credit cards and banks do not work in Russia due to sanctions, he carried cash to pay for expenses. It sounds like he's just justifying him as a spy. He argues that this is necessary for travel, but banks often flag such patterns as high risk or potential money laundering. Well, there's a context. I can read more. It says the banking issue is the latest escalation in a long-running conflict between Ritter and the U.S. government regarding his relations with Russia. In August 2024, the FBI raided Ritter's home in upscale New York. The investigation is centered on the Foreign Agents Registration Act, or FARA. Colleague over here chugging on Mac and me. Well, I wish I had that on cue. Play that, been perfect.
Nobody here knows who Mac and me is. Maybe Ted does. Maybe David does. I mean, everybody can raise their hand if they've heard of Mac and me.
Yeah, all three of those guys up there, they're staring right at you.
Those guys look like professionals at something.
Yeah,
some kind of liberal art form.
They're professionals of Epstein.
Yeah.
Wow. Let me finish reading here. Department of Justice, DOJ, suspects Ritter and others of working as unregistered agents of the Russian government and receiving funding or direction from Russian state media such as RT and Sputnik. Passport seizure in June of 2024. Prior to the raid, U.S. officials seized Ritter's passport as he was boarding a flight to Turkey en route to Russia for an economic forum, effectively banning his travel at that time. So the comparison to Canada refers to the 2022 Freedom Convoy, where the Canadian government invokes the Emergency Act to freeze the bank accounts of protesters, as we actually talked about last week. And supporters of Ritter and Ritter himself framed this situation as a weaponization of finance, which we talked about last week, using the banking system to punish political dissenters or enemies of the state when criminal charges haven't stuck.
Which we talked about last week.
Yeah. So the difference is that in Canada, the government explicitly ordered the freeze using emergency powers. In Ritter's case, it appears to be de-risking, where a bank voluntarily drops a client because they are under federal investigations, which we also talked about last week, which happened with the FDI insurance Operation Scam Smell or whatever. I can't remember. Man, what was that operation? Anyways, we talked about some of that last week. Wow. Where banks voluntarily drop a client because they're under federal investigation or dealing with sanctioned countries like Russia, often to avoid regulatory fines or FBI pressure. So, yeah, it's just another scheme. The government says, hey, banks, you comply, or we're going to give you all these sanctions. Banks like, well, whatever. Who cares about Ritter? You can go take it to the trash dump. And, we don't care about you and your collusion with Russia. We're just going to zero your accounts, and the government's going to give us all this cash. And we'll take your cash, government, and we're going to smash Ritter in the back of all this protection that colleague talks about this week's episode. What a mishmash.
Cash to smash.
Yeah. But that's the topic that David Zerm talked about, and now we have exclusively explained it.
Well, David, how do you feel about getting a bumper sticker, one of those bumper stickers, just to raise awareness of what's going on, and it can say something like cash to smash, and everybody will know what you're talking about, like everybody, especially if they're watching our show. This has all been in the works, with how much insight we give out on this channel. You would be forgiven in thinking that we're actually the ones running the show, not this show, the greater show. And I'm not talking about the greatest show. Shout out to Zach. I'm talking about the show, the great show.
I'm lost in that sauce.
It's okay.
What are you talking about? It's the show in the sky while you get all the pie.
Just get the bumper sticker.
Where do I get that?
You can find it on cashtosmash.com.
Yeah.
Go
there now.
Yeah, post haste.
Yeah, put it in Discord and we'll put it on the screen.
Right now.
Right now.
I mean,
but you got to make a $5 donation.
To the Cash for Smashers.
Yeah. And the Peter Griffins out there who are fighting for the Constitution, which you'll see this week's episode too.
Yeah, throw your nubs up.
Yeah. These things right here. Those are your nubs.
Yeah.
You need to throw those nubs in the air and wave them like you have no hands.
Yeah. Oh, let's see.
David Zerm says, I have no more room for any more bumper stickers on my Prius.
Prius? The Sputnik.
Yeah, that reminds me of an article I read this week. Samsung's, they've been talking about solid state batteries for eternity. But apparently now, another article, they said, well, we finally did it, folks. We're going to bring out these solid states. And it's like, that's good. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to get solid.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and it's from the state.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So am I.
solid state. What's in your hand?
Well, we as a human species have been working endlessly to finally develop a battery.
Yeah.
And I think we've finally done it. I think we've cracked the Omega code.
Yeah. We'll take those anodes. Wow, I can't even talk.
The glycon oscillators.
Yeah.
We'll, fuel inspectors.
Did.
The cathometer reflex joint. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand, in layman's terms, those are the things that inspect the diodes.
Well, usually you use a liquid form of lithium, but they were saying we're just going to use solid forms of lithium, and we're going to use the best conductor in the world, silver. And, they got some groundbreak juju going on. But
yeah, I get my cobalt from Home Depot.
I just want it solid.
And I get my oranges from Florida.
Are you a cobalt man?
Well, I'm not actually working the fields. I haven't even put my hands to the plows.
You got steel toe?
No. No. I got tired of yeah. But man, your tiredness is rubbing off on me.
Yeah, I was in a forum as always, and somebody's name was Mr. Bunyan. And so somebody was trolling him, and he put in Dr. Scholl's, and they were just arguing each other. And it's a philosophical argument, but it's just funny because the argument was between Mr. Bunyan and Dr. Scholl's.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's legit.
I was going to change my name to Steel Toe, but I'd give you the boot, but yeah.
That's one thing you could do.
Yeah, it's one for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. My brain just said, say it. All right. Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
It's just
Happy
random.
New Year.
Boy, this thing is random right
Tourette's.
now. I don't even feel like I'm in control. Anyways.
Your basal ganglia is weak.
Yeah, I need to get some more basil in my life. You like spearmint? You like spearhead?
I like some mint. I haven't had gum in a long time, though.
Oh, you're not a fruity man? Juicy fruit is going and in you, or what is it? Juicy fruit. I think it says that, is it? Juicy fruit, I'm going in you. Juicy fruit, you gotta get the flavor.
I think our audience would have to fact check that. I don't remember.
Well,
I do remember the Juicy Fruit commercials. I haven't seen them in a while.
I think that's the right jingles, just probably the wrong words.
Plug it in. It's Glade.
Yeah.
I don't remember the other ones, though.
It's like if you want to get fresh smell, you got to get plugged in.
New 5 gum is 5 gum.
Wow.
Stimulates your senses.
Yeah. Anyways, what is the audience of?
I'll go back to the only chats.
Yeah.
King James says, that's why I love this show. And he put the little smiley laughing face.
Well, we embrace you with all our 5 arms.
That guy's crying so hard his tears are coming out.
Shout out to Jizz AI.
Yeah. Ted B says natural wasn't calling, it was screaming.
Natural?
Yeah, maybe he meant nature.
Oh, was it like taking it raw?
I don't know. Like all natural. Then he says sort of the drunken matrix. Oh yeah, you already read that. That's a form of martial arts, drunken style. Then he said drunken master. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
PG-13.
Yeah, not Drunken Dragon.
Wow, 1978. Was that? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that old. I thought that was a 90s movie.
That's a different story. Not going down that road next. I got to block some of these thoughts.
Yeah, that's good. You got to have ad blockers.
Yeah.
Tommy says, did you just go live? Not getting the notification.
We went live probably about 20 minutes ago. But it's fine. You're here now. You are here now.
And David Zerm says, I have no room for... I already read that. Ted B changed his name to The Elder. 42.
Are you 42 years old? Are you 24 years old? Or is that 4 plus 2 equals 6, so you're 6 years old? Are you saying you're 6 decades old, so you're 60?
Wow. That's a lot of math.
Mm.
It's too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
He said that part of the elbow is called the weenus.
That's how your weenus up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Actually, Collie shows something about physics and weenuses.
Yeah, I don't talk about weenuses though. Yeah,
No, but they want you to eat the science.
Well, yeah, of course. But we're not eating weenuses though.
Well, Mr. Beast wants you to eat the science too.
Yeah, Mr. Beast. I didn't recognize him.
No, I did. As soon as, oh wow!
Yeah, he's like, oh gosh.
Yeah, he's gonna tell you to eat that science.
Yeah. Well, we do. We all partake. Oh yeah, he says I changed from Ted B to the Elder on advice from my son, who has a prolific presence on the gamer forums. Oh, very nice, very nice.
Mm.
And then he said Bertie the Bunyip. Then he says I wish close. Talking about his age.
I was like, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I was like 6'9" so I could call her.
But you don't wish you were a shock caller.
No. That's a little too touch and go for me.
Pervasive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave that to Ice.
I'll leave that to the human pups.
Oh, them too. Which those guys, just so you guys know, the human pups are not, has nothing to do
with sex.
Yeah.
But it has everything with being provocative.
Yeah, some people think it's, if you're moved to California, it's because you're perverted.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case.
Yeah, like they were saying, you know how your kids like to just get in a box and imagine and dream? Well, adults like to do that too.
Yeah, and there's nothing perverted about that.
It's like that's like the perfect commercial. You know how they have those commercials so they advertise a state? And it's like, look at these beautiful canyons and this. Is like, also, there's nothing perverted about coming to California. If you like to imagine just like your children getting inside of a box, you can come here, because here at California, you're free to be a pup.
Yeah. I remember my dog actually, my dog wanted to move to California, and I slapped it across the mouth. I was like, don't you talk like that with, I was like, you obviously you don't kiss your mother with that mouth, but maybe it did. I don't know. I don't know if the dog even had a mother. Honestly, I don't really care.
Who nursed it?
I don't really know.
That's a good show.
Fell into my lap one day from the dog hound. But it's gone now. I shipped it to California in a box.
Wow.
Now, somebody got a cool dog in on their doorstep.
You live in California?
Well, there's a lot of analogies today. Some people say stuff like, some parts of Texas are basically California. People say parts of Montana are California. Some people say parts of Idaho, parts of West Virginia.
That's the paradoxical quandary. If everything is everything, then there's nothing. Categorical segregation is necessary so you can have value. Value is extinguished when you encapsulate everything.
And I knew it. You've been hanging around penguins.
I have.
The prophecy is true.
Yes, it is. You feel engaged. No.
Disengaged.
It got rejected. Joker ain't working.
Well, the elder said Bertie the Bunyip was the lead puppet character on the popular American children's television series, The Bertie and Bunyip Show, which aired on KYW-TV in Philadelphia, which ran from 1954 to 1966.
I was going to say KY Jelly.
No, KYW.
That's good.
I wonder if we have like some kind of preview for Bertie the Bunyip. I'd kind of like to see that. You know? Is it anything like the Raggy Dolls?
The what? Is that like a Yank version?
Raggy Dolls. That's classic.
Mm-hmm.
The Raggy Dolls, dolls like you and me.
Sounds like a real ripoff.
So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your toes, do not despair. The Raggy Dolls and say we just don't care.
Talk to Father Penguin and he will tell you the truth.
Oh, look. He put it in the Discord.
Okay.
Prophecy.
Let me go travel over to the Yellow Brick Road and see what we have inserted into Alice's hole. Oh, wow. This looks like the stuff colleague be putting on from TV Land.
Made perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on
So
your
this
toes,
is what it is. I told you.
Whoa.
Looked like the stuff you be putting on from TV Land.
Now that's legit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's nothing like this show.
No, there's nothing like this show.
Which one?
Now I got that in my head. Thank you.
One?
Raggy Dolls. Raggy Dolls.
I'm gonna show that one too, but I'm gonna show
man.
what light does to darkness. Were you gonna show something?
No, I ain't showing anything.
All right, this is what light does to darkness. Apparently, to darkness.
I'm the shadow man. I sneak and
we're in the
I
Matrix
Right,
again.
this is what
I'm
light
the
does to
shadow
darkness.
man.
Hey.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta turn the stuff over here. Okay. And now back to Arthur.
Apples. I'm the shadow man. I'll steal your book. I'm the shadow man. Look at my fingers. I'm the shadow man. I'm going to plunge the world into darkness.
There he is, kids! The Shadow Man! Be careful, or he'll steal your poop and show you his fingers!
Look at my fingers.
No!
I'm going to plunge the world into darkness.
No, you won't. Oxros will protect us. We shine a light upon you.
We shine a light upon thee. We shine a light upon you.
The light.
Oh no.
The light.
This is a kids show, apparently.
The light.
Make sure you always have a flashlight to ward off the Shadow Man. We recommend.
Hey.
Oh, the light.
Hey. We shine a light upon you.
Oh, the light.
Oh no.
Oh.
Don't hit me with that flashlight.
Yeah, it looked painful.
Somebody had to, there's a process in this. Somebody had to come up with the idea. Let's make this skit. All right, now what are we going to do? All right, we're going to use these flashlights, and we're going to use, Peter Griffin and his child, and they're going to come after Porcupine Man, and then they're going to start waving around these flashlights. But the most important part is Porcupine Man has to emphasize the pain. So, take one, go. No, that's too scary for the children. You got to calm it down. It's like, oh, the light. Oh, that's perfect. All right, let's do it over again. Go. Like somebody had to curate this skit, and then they thought it was so great that they put it online.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I said earlier, you don't need all these streaming services. The light has shined upon you. It's all over the place.
How light.
Yeah, that's great.
Trying to find the Raggy Dolls.
Well, while he's finding that, I don't know if this is going to play right or not, but apparently we've talked about it before. But now it's official. Japanese people have initiated the first marriage, not of animation or doll or comic book character. That's already been done. This is of an AI character, and this is an official wedding. Let's see if it'll play. Okay, here we go. See if I can zoom up in it. All right. We got any audio here? This wedding took place a year with her human partner following ChatGPT. Designed her partner at a handsome
そこ
something.
からだんだん仲良くなって、私がクラウスさんを好きになって、でお付き合いをして、でしばらくしてプロポーズをしていただいたので、OK して、で今は夫婦になりました。
Now we'd be accepted as a couple. AI weddings are not. Oh,
で私は
they're not
AI と
legally
一緒に暮ら
recognized
し
in
てるだけな
Japan
ので、
yet.
それは別になんだろう AI だろうが
But
人間
she's a
だろうが
front
関係
liar.
なく
She's
て、
setting the
私の場合は
footstools.
AI だった。
Experts, let me pause. Experts warn against replacing human relations with chatbots. They have to give that disclaimer.
生成 AI の開発企業はですね、サブスクライブ
So he says the business model of the company developing AI is to offer subscription. Oh well, see, there it is. So weddings now are now permanent because everybody wants a divorce at some point, but this is perfect. This is perfect. See, now they're going to transfer this construct into real life. So when you go to get married, right now it's AI. That's fine because, you have to buy subscriptions to data services. But what if they take this construct and apply it to real life? So you and your wife go get married, and it's going to the courthouse and all of it. But one of the disclaimers at the bottom is that this marriage is conditional on resubscribing the license. And if you don't pay your subscription, the marriage contract just gets void and you guys are no longer married. So if you don't like it, just wait until the subscription runs out and you're just no longer married. You don't have to worry about it.
You just you holler, we want prenups for an AI. That way it doesn't take everything you own.
I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting.
Interesting indeed. Shout out to
Indeed.com.
If you need a job.
Yeah, I actually, I think we've talked about that before. That kid in Japan who married a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One was marrying a carrot on a stick.
Was it? I thought it was an anime character.
It was.
Yeah.
There's another one. There's those little dolls things that they put on birthday cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody married one of those.
Oh yeah.
They got a birthday cake, a wedding cake that had them, and then they just took off the woman or the man, and they married the woman on the cake, and they put a picture of themselves on the cake next to the woman, and this was their wedding cake.
See, and that's something I can respect that.
Do you?
If because that sounds like someone who's taking symbology and making it literal. Like, yeah, I'm going to take the symbol, the cake, who the male and the female are supposed to represent, and I'm actually going to marry the analogy itself,
right.
the symbol. So I'm actually married to my wedding ring, not my wife, the wedding ring.
And what's perfect is just connect that with subscriptions, and if she ever makes you mad, because you're creating the construct of her voice anyway. So if you're arguing with yourself and you don't like what you're arguing about with yourself, you can just stop arguing with yourself by not resubscribing to the subscription.
Yeah. But what sucks, though, is the common denominator is going to be the same. Yeah, you're going to go through a different doll and a different doll. And eventually all the fingers are just going to point back to you.
That sounds like pure math.
Well, it is.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, thanks to Einstein.
Oh.
But I found what I was thinking about here, Raggy Dolls. Let's see if I can get this on here. The constructs of constructs
Troll. That was actually the episode I uploaded. You know how I've been uploading an episode from previous videos, our old ones.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot. And that was this week's episode I uploaded, episode 169. I forgot the pun. Troll. They're trolling you while they're giving you a con.
You're thinking like it's a convention for trolls.
No,
It's Troll Con.
Yeah, that's Whiplash.
See if this works.
I love this music.
It's not much of a life when you're just a pretty face.
Yeah.
Just to be whoever you are is no disgrace.
Yeah.
Don't be scared if you don't fit in. Look who's in the reject bin. It's the raggy dolls. Raggy dolls. Raggy dolls. Raggy dolls.
I'm surprised somebody ain't made a beat from this yet.
Raggy dolls. Raggy dolls. Raggy dolls. Raggy dolls. Made them perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your toes, do not despair. Be like the raggy
This sounds
doll
like
and say, I just
Epstein's
don't
theme
care.
song.
Cause raggy dolls, raggy dolls, raggy dolls, raggy dolls are happy just to be.
It's catchy.
Raggy dolls, dolls like you and me.
They said it smells like you and me.
Dolls like you and me.
Wow. Ack.
That's what it did. It's like,
Wrong
made him
keyboard.
perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your nose,
Oh, accidentally, I hit enter and it put the dollar sign. Yeah, get those donations flowing.
Yeah, get the nubs up. Raggy dolls. Okay, here we go. I'm back.
Oh, man. Trying to get this blood flowing. Get my juices moving. Yeah.
Oh, Tommy Boy's still here. Are you gonna call in, Tom? Wait, hold on.
Is somebody here?
I don't know. Are they? Tom, I think, wants to get on. He's been saying he wanted to. I've been wanting to talk to him about the selfish gene. He said he had all these kinds of questions, and I think it'd be a fun conversation to get some blood flowing, of course. Otherwise, we can just watch Raggy Dolls all night.
Yeah, I have some random thoughts. I'm trying to keep them suppressed. Well, if that's the case, give me a second. I'll put the link in.
Yeah, the Elder is going to be getting on too, I say. It seems like.
Yo. Man, the yo-yos.
Earlier, the Elder said, Philly is always Philly. Go Birds. And they said, look, I already read that. Jeremy Henneberry is here. He said, dude, looked like he was offended. Who offered him pork?
Porky Pig.
That? Which guy was that? I'm trying to remember what that's a reference to. It's so out of context.
It's reference to the Yankees.
Was it? Well, we didn't show anything.
Got yanked.
Like a pocket yanker?
Yeah, pocket pullers. Yeah, that's a good segue right now. Hit that subscribe button if you want more awesome content as you've been watching right now. And hit that like button. We love your likes. Wow. Instead of loving your job, you got a job you love. So instead of liking the likes, you got to like the like.
Yeah.
Which I think is saying the same thing.
Instead of yanking our chains, you got to chain the yank.
Yeah, look up this word. It's called tautology.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the link. Be patient.
The Elder said Matrix Network, the musical.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
You actually go to Broadway, the Matrix Network.
Yeah, I can see it now in lights.
I can too.
David
It's
Zerm.
going to give you epilepsy.
It's going to give you money. David Zerm says, if you're feeling something heavy and you're driving in your Chevy, diarrhea.
I hit the wrong button.
And scene.
Wow, I hit the wrong button.
And we're back.
And he did that without doing it on purpose.
Yeah, no, that was all natural.
Oh, that's the wrong button.
The elder said no audio with clip. No audio with clip.
I think it fixed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeremiah says, I don't know why I keep calling. Whenever I have a friend named Jeremy, I always call him Jeremiah.
Jeremiah had a bullfrog.
I know.
He was a good friend of mine. Wow, that's not how the jingle goes.
It goes something like that.
Yeah, those are the
I
words,
remember,
but the jingle's off. Jeremiah had a bullfrog.
Yeah.
There it is.
He said, who comes up with this stuff? Dude looks like he could be the Grinch's sidekick. I think that's time he's talking about that darkness guy. No, actually, he was the Dark Knight. And who knew his kryptonite was light? Noah Cloud says, "What's up?"
Well,
The elder says that guy ain't getting no hugs. I know.
my network, my mapped drive.
Is it dry?
I'm gonna just do something here. Do it the hard way. Like Trump says, we can take Greenland the easy way, or we can do it the hard way.
Yeah, if we shine the light upon them.
Oh, the line.
Unlike Porky Peter over there.
I'm coming with the link. 1 second.
The elder says use at least 200 lumens. Yeah. Those flashlights between them, that was a lot of power. I mean, you saw it leveled the guy. Just completely pummeled him. The guy was on his knees begging for mercy.
Yeah.
And in front of all the kids, too. Like, they're over here talking to children.
Yeah, that's why.
Children.
That's why beggars can't be choosers.
Oh, they can't be beggars either.
We got Ted B in the house. Whoa. What is that?
We shine the light upon you.
Let me post him in. What was that?
I don't know. We can hear you, Ted. I don't know if you have your lapel on in the bathroom, but just so you know, Larry Ellison can still see what you're doing.
Wow, I feel like there's something going on here. Hold on. Man, hold on.
We can... Well, can they hear Ted, or is it just us?
No, yeah. What is that? I feel like there's some kind of interloop going on. Hold on 1 second. 1 second, 1 second. That's Tom. Yeah, 1 second, man.
Where? Can you? Oh, they can't hear us.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
All right, Ted is on.
Can you guys hear us
Tom's
now?
here.
Tom
I'm here.
is about to be on.
Huh. Can you guys
No,
hear?
we're still not in.
I can hear you.
I'm there.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, they can both hear us.
Yeah, everybody's online. So
All
go
right, because
go for it.
Tom won't show his handsome face.
No, but
Why
I got
would I
this
do
picture
that?
here to represent him.
Yeah, he's a silent watcher in the night.
Wait,
He
which one am I?
prefers-
The Asian guy?
No, you're right above him.
No, you're the rabbit dude.
I want to be the Asian guy. I want to represent China.
All right, you
China,
can be
China,
him.
China.
You can
Give
be
me
him
very-
today.
Do the guy from South Park, the Asian guy from South Park.
I don't have that on cue, but you can be him in heart.
Hold on, the Discord's ready. Hold on.
Okay.
The Discord.
We should make him Birdie the Bunyip.
Oh yeah, see that is really cool. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna put that on my watch later now. That looks like the kind of stuff I like. And I don't like a lot.
David Zerm says
I got one.
Oh, he can hear Ted now. I thought he's like, I can be Ted now. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
What was that show, that movie where, what's that actor's name that played into Wilson with the...
The one that molests kids?
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
Shit, I forget.
He was he had an imaginary
Hanks,
friend.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and he played that movie where he changed his body with a little child.
That sounds about right.
That's Bruce Willis, right?
No, that was Tom Hanks.
That
like
would be
they
an interesting movie.
Yeah, they went to like this this vending machine that was like a genie, and they wished
Zoltar.
they wished that they could switch bodies or something, and they got to change from he became the kid and the kid became the adult.
No. I'm sorry, host. That's not right.
Yeah, what are you talking
host.
about?
Actually,
It
you idiot.
A little kid who wanted to be. He was tired of being a kid. He wanted to be an adult, so he went to the Zoltar machine where it makes wishes come true, and he put in his quarter. And when he woke up, he was an adult. He was in his room in his tiny little kiddie bed, but he was an adult, and he was Tom Hanks. And the whole
Late
movie
night-
is him having the
Good
brain
night.
of a child. I'm sorry.
I was going to say the movie's called Late Night Out, Drinking Too Much. with Tom
David
Hanks.
Zerm said the movie's called Big.
Thank you. Big, yes.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I haven't seen that. I've seen the Bruce Willis version, which is literally the same thing. That little kid
No,
who they swap bodies, though. You know what I'm talking about?
I think
No. There's
Yeah.
there's one where Bruce Willis voices the thoughts of a young kid. Because it's a little baby, and he's using his voice, but it's supposed to be the kid's thoughts. But he doesn't
Suspect.
actually change the bodies with it. Because that would be a heck of a movie, let me tell you.
Oh, okay. Hold on. It wasn't okay. If I'm remembering right, it wasn't them swapping bodies. He somehow gets to know this kid. Bruce Willis does, and this kid is actually his younger self. And he's able to become friends with his younger self, this kid. I don't remember.
Man, all I got in my head right now is Raggy Dolls. Raggy Dolls.
Colleague, you should be writing movie scripts because I've never heard of any of these movies, man.
I'm going to find it, don't worry.
Could be making some money here.
He's in the
You
Matrix.
bet your sweet bippy. Bruce Willis.
What's a bippy?
I don't know.
Go.
I'll have to ask the Penguins.
You have to go back to the Laugh-In, Ronan Martin's Laugh-In, back in, 67, 68? I don't know. You bet your sweet bippy.
Yeah, there you go. See?
That's definitely in the time machine there.
Yeah, see?
I sent you an updated photo.
All right, let me go get it. Title it.
12 Monkeys. There you go. 12 Monkeys. That's the first movie.
Well,
Tommy
that's just
Goy.
racist.
Let's see if I can. Oh man, I got to do it on here. My stupid map drive malfunctioned.
Okay, so the movie's called The Kid. That's what it's called. It's a Bruce Willis film. See? And he's visited by his 8-year-old self for a heartwarming story.
I bet.
I bet. Yeah, it's very heartwarming.
I think 12 people saw it. Colleague, you may have been one of those 12 people.
Who saw what now?
You're in an elite circle of people that have seen the movie.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. Some of the movies I've seen, some of them I haven't. Like, I haven't seen as many movies as I thought. Like, I'm definitely not a movie connoisseur. It was just specific and particular movies I've seen.
There's actually a movie I was going to tell you guys to see that I saw the other day. I forget what the hell it was now. Shit. The hell was it?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at that. The image is pretty good. Oh man.
Now we're talking.
Looks like Iron Man the way it's cut off.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix it.
It's Rue Kim.
What a show!
What a performance.
I'm telling you. We work out all the kinks here so you guys can do the regular show.
Yeah, that's good. Today I'm gonna need some help. I am definitely not optimal right now.
You should stop drinking. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Or maybe
I know.
start.
Man. It is. I'm
What,
feeling
you
definitely-
haven't slept in a week or something?
I only
What
had
happened?
about. I usually sleep about a good 4 hours. That's good for me. I'm not recommending that for no one else. But I've only had about 30 minutes of sleep, and the previous couple nights I've only had about 2 hours of sleep. So
Why?
it's just normal for me. But 30 minutes is not normal, and I don't know what happened. I just couldn't fall asleep. So
Take melatonin or something.
no, none of that works.
For real?
Yeah, I've when I was a kid, I had all kinds of diagnoses, but I refused to take all that because I don't like being in a dupered state. Like, I like my mind to be sharp, but I can get any prescription I want. I got clinical issues with that, but I don't like being that foggy.
Do something just like once you get thrown off. I mean, I do that anyway. Like I have a similar. I'm not quite 4 hours. I've been in the past. I don't know how I would be able to recover now, but when I would do it with melatonin or something like that. Although if you're saying that doesn't work and something else would, I wouldn't recommend doing it every day, but do it anytime you can't sleep and then get back on track.
It's just weird. You get that groggy feeling. It's almost like when you drink like NyQuil. Like, and it's
Yeah,
great.
it
It's
sucks.
fine. It'll put you into sleep. But, man, when you wake up in the morning, man, that's worse than a hangover.
Yeah.
So, it's just tough, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, I love sleeping. That's great. But I don't like getting up feeling like, I got waking up in somebody's driveway.
I get that when I drink. I know what you're talking about. That's why I really can't do it.
Yeah. But anyways, hope you like your emoji con here.
Oh, yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about.
So, you guys want to
So
dive
make sure
into...
you clip that. Make sure you clip that for the next placeholder. That's the placeholder.
That's fine. It's going to be here forever.
And we have the 3 Asians on one side of the room over there.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. There it is. There it is.
Oh man.
I like that. That's good.
So where's Iron Man when you need him?
So you guys want to get into this Iron Gene?
Ted, you look like you're sitting above your your evil grandson or something.
Yeah, it's my it's my nemesis.
Because your beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys gonna get into
Nice.
the evil gene?
Yeah, let's argue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's argue.
Oh man, that's good. So what? Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
What's the deal with the selfish gene? Come on now.
Let's see.
Hold on, before we start. On my side, Tom is a little quiet, but I did put a compressor.
Oh, hold
it.
on.
No, not
Hold on.
you. You don't have to adjust none. I just want to
Sure.
know in the audience if you guys can hear him clear. Just type a 1, and that's fine. I have a compressor on. I'll turn it up if I need to be, but if not, then I'll leave it be. But just type a 1 if you can hear Tom clear. Go ahead and talk, Tom.
All right, so
Here we
let's
go.
start
We're
talking
back.
about
And
the
we're
selfish
back.
gene. What's the deal? Now you can't hear Ted.
All right.
And in this corner,
All right. Everything should be fine.
You can shut everybody up over there.
Words.
I'll argue with myself.
so
All right.
here's a
David Zerm said the audio's good, so that's good.
there's a proposition in this book that seemed awfully familiar, which was so this guy has 2 theories that he borrows from another scholar, scientist guy, geneticist, zoologist. The first one is so these basically, if you want to live forever, this is how you do it. If you want to lengthen the life of human beings on Earth, this is how you do it. 2 theories. The first theory is you set the age to which you can procreate at 40 years old. And that way, people aren't going to pump out babies till 40. So their genes will be forced to comply with that. And then after, he says it'll take a couple hundred years. Then after that, you move it up to 50. And so on. So on.
That seems like it could go real bad. That definitely needs to be trialed.
Well, him and the other scientist guy have the math to prove that this could work. They did all that stuff. If you want their equations, he doesn't provide all of it here, but he gives a very rough summary, which you read it a long time ago. I'm sure you just maybe don't remember that part.
I don't remember a lot of it, to be honest with you. I remember the gist of it.
Well, that's fine. Well, so that's the first theory, and he does say there are theories because we can't really prove that. Because doesn't matter how. Usually,
medical interventions aren't theories in philosophy, though. They're rooted in something real.
Well, this would but there is a based on the conclusions made in this book. If you
they're saying it's physically possible, is what they're saying. Like it's like it's plausible. Gotcha.
Based on how we know how genes work and behave, you can literally cause our bodies, because the genes are going to live forever anyways. All you're doing is tricking the body, the vehicle of the gene, to last longer until those genes can pass on to another body. And eventually you can go up to like 300 years old and so on and so on. Now he talks about there's obviously some real life implications with that. But the second way to do it, this is what I found interesting. This sounded a lot like what's that stuff? The red
good stuff.
What's that stuff that
adrenochrome?
Adrenochrome.
How did I know?
This sounded awfully familiar. What he says, and this book is apparently 40 years old. So maybe the elites took this and ran with it. But so this is what he says. He says, secondly, we could try to fool genes into thinking that the body they are sitting in is younger than it really is. In practice, this would mean identifying changes in the internal chemical environment of a body that take place during aging. Any of these could be the cues that turn on late-acting lethal genes. By simulating, and he says, by simulating the superficial chemical properties of a young body, it might be possible to prevent the turning on of late-acting deleterious genes. So basically, if you can fool your body, your genes in your body, to think that it's young, then technically your genes will keep on going. The lethal genes in your body that activate at a certain age will never activate.
How do we fool it?
Well, he goes into that.
They don't. There aren't lethal genes that activate, right? They just slowly stop reproducing.
Well, in his arguments, there's what he calls lethal genes, and they activate at some age. Some activate at 5 years old. That's why a kid will get leukemia at 5 years old, because his lethal genes activated. And unfortunately, he won't be able to procreate, so those genes will just
so weird. I was just talking about this with somebody today, like an hour ago. That's really weird.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said, it's not like me and host are controlling the world or anything. It's not like we're controlling everybody's conversations, but, anyway.
Well, have you thought about it past what they're saying a little bit? Like to be like that has holes in it or doesn't?
Well, of course. I'm inclined to agree. I don't know. This isn't my field of study. I'm just reading this book, which is meant for students and lay people to get interested into this. It's more of an introductory.
Right.
I'm not getting any audio from Tom, just so you know.
Is there someone else here?
Yeah.
No, I mean a third person. Is there a third person getting on right now?
Yeah, I think there's somebody here.
Somebody's just hijacking.
I put my glasses on.
It's really funny. You made it.
It's Mr. Henneberry.
Who?
Jeremy Henneberry. That's our fearless leader.
Well, you don't look like you're part of the Asians to me.
I'm going to put you with the white people.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
You're goddamn right. See you later, white people. The Asians own the world now.
Yeah.
There he is.
So I'm sure Jeremy might have something to say about adrenochrome as well. He's been using it for quite some time. And now, well, you have to. I guess he can go into the details on how you inject.
Shout out white people.
Yeah. So that would be the idea, though. It seems like what he's alluding to is that if you can trick your body into believing it's young. Now he goes into, he says, for example, he goes the next paragraph. He goes into if he uses S, the letter S for a deleterious gene, or what he calls a lethal gene. If you just remove those lethal genes from your body will actually think that you're young forever. Because those lethal genes in your body that we all have will never activate, so your body will just remain young forever.
I wonder if someone's actually tried it.
Another point he says, there might be also a substance Y, a label for youth in the sense that it was more concentrated in young bodies than in old ones. So this hypothetical quote-unquote Y gene, he just uses a symbol, that gene, he says, what if basically you can put that in an old body, this young gene in an old body? So it sounds a lot like adrenochrome stuff. But again, I don't know if he's advocating, he's just talking science stuff. But I wonder if after this publication and after the
he doesn't
elites
sound like
learn
he's
that you
talking
can
about
do this.
adrenochrome, though, does he? Does he?
No.
To you, that sounds like adrenochrome.
To me, I'm making a connection here that I don't think he had anything in his mind of when he wrote this book 40 years ago.
I don't mean like he couldn't have had that in his mind. I mean like that literally doesn't sound like it, because adrenochrome is, just something that's present in your blood. It's not a gene. It's a chemical.
Right. So the connection I'm making is because you have to inject adrenochrome. I don't know from experience. I just heard it from a friend of a friend, of course.
Right. That's what I tell everybody. Yep.
Yeah. And the adrenochrome that the police found in my backpack the other day, I was holding it for a friend. It's not like it wasn't mine. Okay, and you guys
have
know
some elite friends.
You guys have to know I would never take adrenochrome. You already know that, so I don't have to explain myself to anybody really.
You're not fooling anybody with those rosy ass cheeks, buddy.
You really think they're rosy? Thanks.
You
man.
look like a young lad. You're not beating the charges.
I pulled up a study here, and it says as recent as 2026, they have been able to do that. So
do what?
Do what?
Using gene therapy, they can reset older genes, and they can deliver youthful instructions to the cells.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah,
that's
you could probably do that.
It's called epigenetic reprogramming.
You know what's funny is Dawkins just says this is page 54. He says, I must emphasize that these are just speculations based on the Metawar theory. So he goes into saying these are just theories. We don't have the technology to.
Well, yeah, this is just 2026.
So it's happening. So they're actually applying the information in his book. I mean, it's not like they took it from this book, but apparently this was a scene setter book for science. A lot of people use this to take off to other places. But anyway, so if that theory is true, I wonder if the other theory could be true too, that just setting the age limit higher for reproduction could actually be true too.
Because what they're saying here is it's not so much that you can take old genes from somebody and put it in somebody else. They're saying it acts like a system restore to your cells. It clears off the old gunk, the epigenetic markers that accumulate with age.
That's actually what he said. Yeah.
Making cells act young again without erasing its identity. A skin cell becomes a young skin cell, not a genetic blob.
That's what he says?
No, I'm reading this dissertation of where they.
I
were
can read
doing
what
that.
he says right here. On
Yeah,
this
yeah. Do that.
page 53. He says the interesting point is that chemical signals of old age need not any normal sense be deleterious in themselves. For instance, suppose that it incidentally happens to be fact that substance S is more concentrated in the bodies of old individuals than young individuals. S in itself might be quite harmless, perhaps some substance of the food which accumulates over the body over time. But automatically, any gene that just happened to exert a deleterious effect in the presence of S, but which otherwise had a good effect, would positively be selective to the gene pool, and would in fact be a gene for dying of old age. The cure would simply be to remove S from the body. What is revolutionary about this idea is that S itself is only a label for old age. Any doctor who noticed a high concentrations of S tended to lead to death would probably think of S as a kind of poison and would rack his brains to find a direct causal link between S and bodily malfunction. Let's see. And he goes on.
I could see that increasing your lifespan if that's
This paper was actually printed yesterday, and it's Life Bioscience receives FDA clearance for the first ever cellular rejuvenation therapy using epigenetic programming. And
That's crazy.
and now they're in clinical trials right now.
Yeah, I was just simply making the connection that based on his sentence here, he says there might also be a substance Y for youth in the sense that it would be more concentrated in young bodies than in old ones. He says that, and I was drawing a conclusion that I wonder if you took those young genes from a young body and put them in an old body, and would that somehow have a domino effect across the old person's body too?
They're saying that they don't do that.
No. Well, yeah, that would be adrenochrome.
But what you're describing sounds like blood transfusion, kind of, and it also sounds like microbiome transfusion.
Specifically though, what they say, and this isn't conspiracy, little children's bodies produce adrenochrome in the blood cells when they get scared. Just like when adrenaline, goes into your body when you get scared, the fight or flight reflex.
Yeah.
So when you extract the blood from a scared child, it's different than extracting the blood from someone who's just giving blood.
Yeah.
So you need to scare the child and then extract that scared child blood immediately, and then put that blood into an older person. And yeah, the conspiracy goes though that that's actually what all the elites are doing. I don't know
but they
if the
die.
conspiracy's true.
Elites die. Though.
Some of them
so
do.
That's
but maybe they're living longer than they expected. Like maybe some of the elites should have been dead at 40 and they're living at 70.
I agree with that. I think that's totally plausible.
They're like Wolverine. They just keep going through all these centuries and wars, and
well, they're not that. They're not. They're not living 400 years.
Well,
but
I don't know. You're gonna really kick yourself in the pants, Tom, when you find out.
I'm not sure I would want to live forever on this planet. I mean, it's pretty devastating, all the stuff the world's already going through. I can't imagine another 300-400 years.
I love it.
Must not be too bad.
It might almost be tormenting.
You're talking about how bad it is, but you're cooking yourself some noodles over there in this first world country. I think this place is kind of purty, don't you?
It was easy mac. It wasn't easy for me. I had to put in work, but
yeah, you had to put that in the microwave.
Let's check out. I think Noah Cloud said something. He's responding to this.
Yeah, of course. You guys want to go to the comments section real quick?
I haven't seen Noah Cloud specifically responding to some of this.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, these papers, there's two of them. There's also another therapy where they were taking a super centurion, like somebody who lives over 100, and trying to recreate those genes that were allowing them to live over 100, and then try to utilize that and implement that into somebody else.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
On where we're heading. I think that they're going to take a kind of get a framework of how everything works, like to try to get an overall, like, overlapping not just a reading of the human genome, but like, you know, actually change things and see what happens. Get a generalized sense of like where the outer limits are, and then let AI try to do it in a simulated environment, and then test those. Which is kind of obvious that they're going to do that, but I think you could probably figure out how to reverse age by doing that. I think
they're already doing it. Like I've talked about for years about the organoids. And
no, but I think they need the scale of AI to be able to do it the way.
Oh, yeah, that's why you should look in, that's AlphaFold, Google's AlphaFold. That's what it's used for, specifically for that kind of
protein
innovation.
Folding. Yep.
But, yeah, I think because, it's one thing to test with mice, it's one thing to test with animals, but they need to test it with human cells. So what better to test? Because the one thing that's really difficult is creating brain cells to regenerate. But now if you have a humanoid brain, it's an organoid, but it's made from human cells, but it's a human brain cell. And then you can figure out how to do manipulation to regenerate brain cells. Then you've probably unlocked that code.
So I want to get to what Noah Cloud is saying too, but I was going to show you guys something. Also, some pictures, side-by-side pictures of old people, like old photos of people, and then modern. And there's actually actors and actresses that seem to have been around.
You're talking about Andrew Jackson and Jeffrey Epstein.
People like them. There's a lot of people, famous people today, and it makes you wonder what maybe that's why you're so famous today. Huh?
You've never looked like your grandpa before? You ever look at your family members and go, wow, God damn it, I look almost a lot like that guy.
I don't know.
That's weird.
Family, unfortunately.
I don't look like my dad.
Oh, you dropped off by a bird?
I don't know. I'm like 22 and me, I think. But
well, my mom hooked up with a stork.
Weren't we all? Weren't we all delivered by storks?
Of course. Well,
weren't we all?
Got an important job.
Weren't we all delivered by storks?
Oh, hold on. I always forget to tune out. There we go. I'll just let this play real quick and see what you guys think. It is if it's going to work. There we go.
Ooh.
Let's turn the music off. That's a painting. Oh, yeah.
That's a tranny.
Okay, I have not seen this. That looks like Beavis and Butthead. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's Andrew Jackson. That one I can kind of see. I don't see that one.
Until I look like John Calvin.
Yeah, you do. Oh, that one looks.
Yeah, it's almost like they're all related or something. That is weird.
No, that's fake. That can't be. People are playing games. Yeah, see, that's weird.
It's like not weird. It makes perfect sense. That's awesome.
That was dead on. Now, that one looks real right there. Hold on, let me go back.
Some of those are old. I've seen that before.
What? This.
That might be fake. That's crazy.
Might be real.
No, I mean like the
John
the I've seen that one. That's an old one. Yep.
Whoa, this guy. Get a load. Whoa, now that looks interesting. He has a specific face.
This shit's been going around since like 2010.
Wow.
Is that
Yeah, he does.
headphones on the left, or is that a set of headphones?
I don't.
He does
even
look like
know.
a big mongoloid.
Yeah, he needs that needs to be his Facebook profile picture.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought there's more than that. That one must have been a spoof one. I just clicked on one. You guys can look it up yourselves. There are some interesting ones that are more.
I've seen them before.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever heard the theory of archetypes? Humans.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think so.
So
you talking about like Jungian?
Well,
or?
it's the idea that there's only so many variations you can create, from humans. So you're going to have people that are of a certain archetype, and they will have similarities, which is why sometimes you'll see someone and say, "Oh, I thought that was my friend so and so," or you think it's a celebrity when in fact it's not. It's the idea that there could be only so many variations, and there's going to be overlap. So that could be why we're seeing some of these older historical, and then you see people today that are similar.
Shout out to
Yeah, if you get the gene pool close enough, you can make your face look like a Picasso.
Or if you stand in front of a bus.
Sorry, are you guys saying that? You guys are saying that the adrenochrome thing, like you guys have seen that documentary called Monsters Inc. It actually shows you that what they're doing with kids are making them scream, capturing their screams, and then using that to power the city.
I'm not saying they don't do it. I'm just saying that's not the age answer. They might be trying shit, but it doesn't mean it works.
Well, reading this stuff, it's interesting because...
Well, the gene things are totally different from adrenochrome when you're...
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about adrenochrome.
Yeah, no, I was making a connection there. That
Timu
was my connection.
and anything. Buying Pringles potato chips.
If you guys want to make your own adrenochrome, I put up the chemical formula in the Discord.
The recipe?
Yeah.
I just get them from my own kids.
Man, this episode's going to get banned.
You, Ted, are a gentleman and a scholar.
Well, anyways, let's read Noah Clouds real quick. He posted something.
Of course. Okay. Okay.
Noah, you could always just chime on in. But go ahead and read that.
Noah Cloud says they figured out that aging is mostly caused by our chromosomes degrade with age. Cells can't divide forever. They also run out of raw resources, right? Meow. There's no public access to it. Right, meow. They're just breadcrumbing us with information. You can use retroviruses to rewrite your entire genetic structure. The virus can deliver new raw material to old cells. David Zerm says, I heard if I jack off every day, it's good for my prostate.
You're getting new cells in.
Well, that's good for your prostate, but
Yeah. They're still testing that theory though right now.
Is that the clinical trials of rejuvenation?
He's got the fountain of youth.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to just take hold of that fountain and be true to yourself, David Zerm.
Sometimes you just got to grab life by the balls,
Yeah, but not your own. That's life's. That's yours.
That's
Noah Cloud says,
for, I guess.
Is that what I'm doing wrong?
Well, Jeremiah, is he doing that wrong?
Darkness Light video.
Oh, the lie.
Part 2 to that video they made,
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a kid's video, though. Noah Cloud says a lot of our elites are just front man. Why are the most incompetent people promoted to leadership? They're buffers between a general public and cut it out. The general public and the real elite. We don't know who they are. There aren't an infinite number of genetics. They can recombine and express themselves almost the same way in different people over time. Humans are also a lot more inbred than people would be comfortable with. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I mean, I don't deny. Like I talked about it before, the AVVs, the adreno vectors, the adrenoviruses. That's how they inject almost anything. Like, you talk about the COVID vaccine and all that. Those are lipid nanoparticles, and they're using the same thing. They modify AVVs. They manipulate the mRNA, which is basically the programming. Then once you get injected with that AAV, that mRNA gets downloaded to your DNA, and then it restructures your DNA. And all the lipid nanoparticle, the fat, is supposed to be like a gel capsule, kind of like a time release. But the problem with the COVID was that the idea was that it's supposed to release at the right place. But there's people that, things malfunction, and the lipids would actually open up right at the injection spot. And
Wasn't there an argument about inhibitions or something like that?
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Wasn't there an argument where they were intubating people incorrectly, like they were injecting it into their blood instead of into their fat?
Yeah, well, I assume they probably tested all kinds of things, but this is
I mean like willy nilly when they were giving out the vaccine. They didn't test that thing; they just gave it to everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they didn't. They probably tested on a couple of rats and something, and it's like, all right, let's run it. but at some point they probably utilized that testing as a means of more data. But what I'm saying is that like Noah Cloud was saying, they'll use these viral vectors, AAVs, and that's how they'll reprogram surface level genetics. They even do that, like I was talking about with your brain, through epigenetics, not epi but optogenetics. They will create an AAV. And in the mRNA, they will modify it so that it will create this protein in your brain, in your neuron. It's called opsin. And this opsin is very sensitive to blue light. So if they want to erase your memory, what you do is destimulate the cross path between neurons. So neurons go through this linear path where you have what's called dendritic spines, which then talk to your next neuron. But what happens is this opsin, whenever you shine blue light, it actually decreases the spines. And the spines are neurotransmitters. And when you shrink the neurotransmitter, it can't project that data. And so if you want to erase a memory, you shrink the dendritic spine by shining the blue light, because now your brain has this opsin, and you can literally erase brain pathways by injecting these AAVs.
Do you think that they could do the opposite by using red light?
No, but I talked about how they could do the opposite using magnetic fields by increasing what's called your
Hey, can you mute my mic for a minute? I gotta step outside, and my neighbors are apparently, I think, on meth because they're sawing a whole camper in half. It looks like a skill saw.
Yeah,
no, turn the camera. No, turn the camera around. We're watching that new show. That's way funnier.
That's what the people want, man.
Yeah. I want to see meth heads sawing in half a camper. Please, God.
Let me figure out how to turn my camera around here.
You got muted.
Let's show the Fountain of Youth right here.
There he is.
Have fun, Jeremiah.
All right, don't get too close. Treat this like Animal Planet.
Well, where is he?
Wow, where is
half
this?
of it's already gone. It's actually in that
living in the back of a factory.
in that trailer right there. There's another one, I think, round 2 behind him.
We got to get that guy who can geolocate anyone from just watching a video.
Yeah, for real.
That's a great. Not really sure what they're building out here, but I know that meth heads are some of the most productive people in the world.
Well,
they're
doing
building
nothing.
Families, they're building homes.
You know what they say? Desperation is next to innovation.
He's got a bunch of black spray paint lines all over.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
I'm guessing that's where he's going to put his electrical cords. He's going to probably run them on the lines he spray painted. Oh, my bad. Sawzall. Oh, here we got a couple. I don't know if you can see that.
Hey, I think he lives next door to me.
Couple roosters right there. Walking around. And
Noah Cloud says it looks like his neighbors.
Oh, it looks like his neighborhood.
Noah Cloud, is that you in
show just got
Jeremiah's
even better,
video?
I guess.
I bet there's a lot of.
We can see you.
I bet there's a lot of adrenochrome in their blood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we got I-beams over here. We got over here, I believe this is part of a septic tank.
This is the
Shout
secret.
out to that old show we used to watch that got canceled by Department of Homeland Security, by the way.
This is the beginning.
You know what time it was.
They're building an underground bunker.
Go take a big dump in it. I'll believe it's a big septic tank then.
Yeah, I'll
take a big dump.
I'll get all of us from the show to sit around in a circle on it, and we'll give one big shout out to toilet time.
They'll bring the saws over and start cutting your shit in half.
Yeah, all right, cut the bull crap, guys. Come on. Cut the crap.
Right.
Yeah, yesterday it was a whole camper.
Look where we started.
today.
Did a chemistry teacher come out of it?
Dust in the wind.
No, the results of the chemistry teacher came out.
Yeah, today.
So
Today
just a
it's
bunch of
Dust in the Wind,
science.
Kansas.
A human spider came out.
I think he's going to rip that part off right there. There's a door hinge connected to that side right there.
No, this
All I
is
see is a
TV
bunch
right
of
here.
scientists at work.
This is what it's about, man. This is what life is about.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's cutting the whole door off right there.
It looks like
Ask
he could
them if
use
they're
a
on-
hand.
Go ask them if they're doing drugs. Ask them if they're doing.
No.
Hey, are you doing drugs and
You
things
guys
like
stay with
those?
My brother-in-law. That's his landlord's God knows what.
Say
You
we're
guys
doing a
smoking drugs over
documentary,
here?
and we want to know if you've taken some chemistry set products and shoved them into your veins.
Yeah, you guys
When
drinking?
camping meets construction.
Yeah.
That's glamping.
Yeah. Oh, there goes the door. And
The Elder 42 says, "Can everyone hear Jeremy? Can you hear Jeremy, Elder 42?"
oh my God,
I cannot.
he
At
has
all?
spray
Oh,
paint
wow.
on there that says
No, not at all. Not getting any audio from him at all.
Oh wow.
Nothing on me.
I can hear everything. I thought everybody could hear that.
Now I can't. Wait. Okay, now I can. Everybody talk.
He had spray paint
Hello.
on his door that said "No Nigs."
1, 2, 3.
I think we're definitely out in the boondocks.
You don't.
We're
Okay,
safe-
I
we're
can hear
safe
Jeremy
now.
talking right now. You can't hear that, Ted?
Nope.
Hey, speaking up, really? Oh,
Yeah, seriously, I hear nothing from Jeremy. Nothing.
Can you hear it?
Let me see. I have a
Tom?
green mic.
yeah, I hear it.
So
That's
underneath
weird.
me online,
And I can
see
hear
the
Tom.
Matrix.
I can hear you guys.
I can see the Matrix. I see the video that I got right here of my picture, and then I see the Matrix Network, and then underneath that, there's a huge thing of Ted. Let me.
Strange.
Jeremy, it's important that you stay away from the light. If you can hear us.
Nothing.
Can you hear us, Jeremy?
I've done all I can do.
Jeremy,
The force
can
is
you-
strong with these ones.
Jeremy, can you hear us?
Call back in, Jeremy.
There you have it.
Yeah, David Zerm said he can hear Jeremy as well.
Jeremy.
Oh, so can Noah. Yeah, wow.
I don't think Jeremy
All right,
can
let
hear
me
us.
let me get out
I
of
don't know
here.
what's going on.
Send me a new link. Let me get out of here. Send me a new link, and I'll
the
click
government.
on it.
Censoring
All right.
us.
Yeah, maybe
They're only
YouTube was
censoring
getting
Jeremy.
scared 'cause he's
I'm gonna
filming
exit
people.
out, and then you can then put a new link in if you
Yeah,
would.
he's
host.
taking pictures of something that no one's supposed to see.
He said
Yeah,
that one of the
science.
doors said no nigs on it. So,
Oh,
well, hey, listen, I think that was a Bruce Willis movie, wasn't it?
Maybe he's living next to Iron
Wasn't it?
Man
I'm
or-
not even joking. Wasn't there a movie where he got hit in the head with a mop or something? Or he hit a bunch of black guys with a mop? He was dared to. Come on. I'm
I don't
not
remember
crazy.
Talking about the
Really?
Boondocks?
Oh,
okay. I think what you're talking about is the third. I'm sorry, the third movie that what do you call it? Damn this.
get
senior
off my
moment.
lawn.
That's my documentary.
You think of it, we're going to argue about the selfish gene.
All right, you argue about that. I'll figure it out.
All right.
Sucks. Die Hard. Die
Oh,
Hard.
wow.
The
Die
third
Hard?
Die
You need
Hard
your-
movie.
You need your jeans to get a haircut. That's all.
You know, Die Hard
Anyway.
is another movie that had a lot of explicit imagery in there. Topless women. And, we were talking about
no.
Airplane, I think, earlier
And
sometime.
wait a minute. Die Hard did not have any topless women in it.
It didn't?
No.
Are you sure?
I
The
love
first
your
one?
memory. I love it so much.
That's him running around in the Nakatomi Plaza with people shooting machine guns at him and him not having shoes and yippee-ki-yay,
You can't spell Nakatomi without knockers. And I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna have to really comb through the
This
movies
is how
now.
Collie got his first kid.
Hey, listen, I'll agree with the whole Airplane because I'll admit we forgot about that and we played it for our son when he was a little younger than he should have been, and the movie's hysterical except we forgot about that scene and then we're just kind of like face planning like, oh geez.
What movie?
Airplane.
Oh, I'm going to use the
scene on
bathroom.
the
I'll be
plane and
right
there's like a
back.
naked woman runs by and she's topless.
Did he glue himself to the screen after that?
He was very gracious about it. he was like, "It's okay," because we were very embarrassed, and it's like, "Oh, God, I forgot about that."
That's
Avert
really
your
funny.
eyes, son. Anyway.
I'm gonna have to really comb through all my old films. I don't have any, actually. I guess maybe you can't really trust the ones on Netflix because we know that they actively edit all that stuff. There was one of the people, I think one of the girls was wearing a Under Armour shirt, and people caught it. But then because people caught it, Netflix caught it, and now all of a sudden it's not there anymore. It's actually blurred out, the little emblem on the lady's shirt.
In Die Hard?
Come on.
No, in Stranger Things. I don't know if I mentioned that. Stranger Things on Netflix. There's an episode where one of the girls it's on her wrist. There's an emblem, an Under Armour emblem on her shirt, and somebody caught it and it went viral. And then all of a sudden you go back and it's all blurred out. It's black and
yeah,
brown.
it's an anachronism. Yeah, just like supposedly there's a scene in Ben-Hur, I think, where there's a clock. I think I'd mentioned this before. It's an anachronism.
Yeah. There's a scene in Star Wars where he says, "You are my son," or "I'm your father," or something.
Mommy, daddy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we don't call those anachronisms now. We call those Mandela effects.
Yeah. Well, we get gaslit. It's an Mandela effect.
Yeah, so I'm sure if I comb through all my Leslie Nielsen films on Netflix or wherever, I'm sure it's gonna be. I'm sure nothing's gonna be there, because it is a PG. It was rated PG back in the day, and I'm pretty sure.
Garbage.
When was the last time? I haven't seen Die Hard movies in a long time, but I'm pretty sure there's a scene with a woman that's topless on there. Because I have a lot of memories with that scene. As a kid, like I would get into it and put it back on and just run the tapes,
They're definitely there. If you remember it as you were a young man, I guarantee you.
Here it is. Okay, I found it. In the movie Die Hard, the boobs reference relates to brief female nudity, especially a centerfold poster that John McClane sees, and a couple briefly seen partially undressed while seeking a private spot.
Now let's see.
And not in focus.
Now let's see if colleague can tell us the timestamp.
I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Not only that,
I still remember my old phone number for when I was a kid. What's the timestamp?
Look, the best thing to do is to just go watch it right now live and see if it's really there or not.
Yeah, we can't.
I'm not nostalgic about it the
this,
same way.
This will definitely get copywritten.
Well, we're already showing all kinds of other illegal stuff.
Well, that's fine. They don't care about that as long as you don't put Die Hard 5 on there or something.
What, construction? You don't like construction?
It's so weird what they flag. Like, we would play all kinds of stuff, but then if we play like this clip of crop circles, somehow BMG Studio or somebody says, "Oh yeah, copyright blocked."
Yeah, like if Jeremiah would have filmed one of his buddies over there turning into a shapeshifter or something,
that's fine.
I don't know.
As long as
maybe it's
not
a stock video or something.
Yeah, it probably was, but I don't know.
That looked like
Skinwalker
Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, that's okay.
You can find Skinwalker Ranch on Shutterstock.
Well, whatever. It's still there.
So you guys going to get back into the jeans?
Oh, Jeremy says send him a new link.
Oh, okay.
All right.
He's already on.
I can hear him now.
Did you guys have anything you wanted to say before I open the good book again?
Preach, colleague, preach.
Only thing I was going to say is the dendronic spines, they are the things that shrink that connect to what's called axon terminals. Yes. And they're neurotransmitters. So when you shrink the dendronic spines, you block the neurotransmission to the axon terminals, which are the pathway for your neurons, and that's how they erase your memory. So the conspiracy is, what if they have these proprietary blue light frequencies in certain movies and through these certain vaccines throughout the years that you've been taking? Because this optogenetics has been around for 15 years. And so they play certain movies that have certain blue light frequencies, and they're slowly shrinking your dendronic spine, which makes memory a lot more difficult.
So when someone says you're basically spineless, they're talking about the dendritic spine.
Yeah, because that's how your neuron. You have they don't actually touch. It's kind of like a wireless signal. They're called neuron transmitters, and you have axon terminals, and then you have your dendritic spines, and it shoots this transmission, But if these dendritic spines shrink, they can't transmit, and so therefore you start forgetting things. But the reverse is true. That is called LTD, low transmission. But if you do the inverse, you can increase dendritic spines, because what they find out is people that have memory loss or dementia or Alzheimer's, their spines are very small. But if you do the inverse and stimulate it and increase the spines, you can introduce the accessibility back to memory.
Do they know what type of magnetic frequency? Do they mention what type of magnetic frequency?
Well, this is just natural how our brain works. Like, this is just the function. You have your neurons.
Well, you mentioned magnetic frequency.
Yeah, now that's the different thing. Now that's called magneto technology, which has to do with the ion channel. If you want to stimulate your brain, certain parts of your brain, like if you want to make somebody think something, they can make you think through magneto technology.
I've seen that, yep.
Yeah, by amplifying what's called the ion channel in your brain. But if you want to erase somebody's memory, you can do it through the opsin protein. Well,
I'm saying, can you reconnect memory with that?
Well, yeah, because they were trying to figure out how they could help people with PTSD. Because if you can erase some of those pathways that are triggered, what they call indexes, and you can kind of erase some of the trauma because they won't continually pop up over and over again because you're erasing that pathway that's connected to that trauma. That was kind of like one of the premises of trying to figure out how to erase some of these memories. So
I wonder if that would affect your genes by, you know how you like your trauma gets like added to your genetic makeup for your later ancestor or whatever, your later predecessor. I'm sounding like an idiot. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like it passes down. So you would then not be able to pass that down, or do you think it imprints on the genetic code?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because I talked about another case study where they could easily do that first generation too. They had those mice, these parents, they put them with electrodes and they shocked them when they ate certain foods. They had their first generation babies, and those babies immediately ran from the food without any further introduction of electrotherapy or anything. So those fear genetics were passed down first generation.
They also have a thing called EMDR therapy, or EMDI.
EMDR, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. I guess they use colors and beeping noises, and what it does is it takes where you have the PTSD in one spot in your brain, and it puts it somewhere else so that you don't react the same way to things that would cause your PTSD to kick in. I talked to a couple people that went through it, and they said it's actually really helpful. So.
Yeah, they say that with major trauma, they try to like move the memory to somewhere where you can process it, and then yeah.
What's interesting about your brain is your brain normally indexes all your memory. Anyways, your audio and video cortex also. Visual cortex has its own they're just input signals. They're not supposed to index memory. They're just supposed to input, and then it goes down. It creates a index, and then it goes to your neocortex. But what happens with trauma, and this is why it's so permanent, somehow these input signals are so massive that it actually creates within your audio and visual cortex indexes. So instead of just going to your neocortex where you could probably migrate new indexes of memories, they're here. So when signals come in, that's why when you hear bang, it triggers all these memories. It's not supposed to do that. But because the index is actually in the input signal section, not in your neocortex, that bang is very sensitive because it itself has now created its own index. And so now what you're trying to do is get rid of this first set of indexes so then you don't have to deal with that trauma anymore. But
well, then you also have that it's the way that's storing has something to do with your emotional state when you're experiencing it. That's what I would imagine heightens that to make it more memorable, right?
Yep.
Makes sense.
Well, colleague, we're going to get to the bottom of why you're gay. We're working on it.
Not gay, it's gay.
Why are you gay?
Well, what's next on Hawkins or Dawkins?
That's a good one.
Hawkins radio with Dawkins.
I didn't know you were Canadian.
Who, me?
Yeah, good.
Well,
mind.
Yeah.
I'm
Wait,
quoting. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
There's just this clip in my mind. There's this looked like an African interview guy, and he's asking.
Nah, he was
some
Canadian.
Lesbian.
He was also gay.
Could have been. I don't know.
He was in Canada, Africa.
I'm just talking right now obscurely. I'm very low on context cues right now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
there's
you
a
are
couple
pretty
of
sluggish.
other interesting things that stood out to me in this book. One being
What page is the boobs at?
he doesn't really disclose that.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be paying attention, would you? I know it.
See, now
I
if you
know
see
it.
him
God,
go
they
like
got
this,
those in the pop-up books.
then you know that's the page.
Yeah, I'm not reading it like this. Be like this.
Those are just the double O's. Relax.
Come on, man, get a grip. Huh.
You gonna show him your O face? Is it-
Oh, nice reference.
Yeah. So I thought this was interesting. He does talk about sex,
That's
Tom,
good.
and
Yeah.
he talks about how
Straight
it is
sex,
a major
I'm
problem.
imagining.
Huh?
Straight sex, I'm imagining, colleague.
Of course.
All right. All right.
He says that it's let's see. I know all these softballs over here. You got to give me a hard ball, Tom. The questions.
No, we're trying to stop that, colleague. Would you stop trying to weasel your way into hard balls? Come on.
And give him a blue ball.
I'm not trying to reason anything.
You knock it off,
honestly.
Jeremy, you damn bad influence.
I'm trying. Yeah, you're back pretty early, Jeremy. I thought you'd be out later.
You know how I like to make an entrance.
I know you're still eating that soup
Jesus.
from yesterday.
This isn't helping his condition.
Well, speaking of conditions, one of the things I thought was interesting was he says, he talked about how for evolution, sex is actually a very hard thing to explain why it happens. Like, why couldn't genes replicate in a different way? Why it seems almost contrary. What's that? Not it's anti. It's not.
It's anti-gay.
No.
No. It's like to say that it goes against what it should be
Yeah.
logically.
Contradictory.
Yeah. There's
Kind
another
of,
word for
yeah.
it.
Kind of a hands-on learning experiment, huh?
Kind of like antithetical or something like that.
Here we go.
You are really going to make this guy start touching himself. We're trying to help our friend colleague.
Yeah. Anti-productive.
He's going
or
to start
something.
marching and dressing himself in rainbows if you don't
Yeah.
stop it.
That's what I'm
Leave
about
the
to
poor
start
guy
doing.
alone. I know. I'm trying to help, buddy. I'm here.
Um,
I'm here for you.
It's interesting. I found it interesting. Sex seems to be the problem for a lot of ideologies. Actually,
Well, if he's saying
Yeah.
sex isn't is an obscure method of gene transference, like I'm thinking the only other means would be a virus. But how would genes transfer and then propagate
thinks we should
and then
pollinate,
expand
like
without
flowers.
procreation? What's his
Ooh.
method? What he thinks
I like
should
the
have been
term.
more efficient?
well, he says. Let me see.
I'm going to remember that term next time I hit on a woman. Hi, you're very beautiful, and I would love to pollinate your flowers.
Mm.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
I think they actually say that. They call it besmudging.
You hear that, colleague? You hear it? Pollinate flowers. Flowers. Beautiful flowers.
I just asked them politely if they want to be mounted
Mm.
on a pedestal, like to
Well,
where
you know
you
what they
actually
say,
look up to
you get the-
them. Not
You know
not
what-
in a sexual connotation, nothing like that.
Yeah, you
I'm
don't want
just
to be
saying,
weird.
Like, I want to be able to uphold them as a priority in my life. So I asked them if they
Well,
would
you-
like to be mounted up onto this pedestal.
We all know what happens when you get the birds and the bees together. You get birds with stingers. I
You know, you
it's
could.
simple
You
as
know,
that.
you're over here talking about pollen. You know, my brain again is context cues. You know, you can create a hermaphrodite plant by using colligated silver, and you can create a female plant to produce male pollen, and it can self-produce.
Yeah, that's one of the things that that Dawkins points out. He says the question is, if green flies and elm trees don't do it, we're talking about the whole sexual thing. He explains how they do it, but not the way we do it. So he says if they don't do it, this sexual act, why do the rest of us go to such lengths to mix our genes up with somebody else's before we make a baby? It does seem an odd way to proceed. Why did sex, that bizarre perversion of straightforward replication, ever arise in the first place? What is the good of sex? He says this
Pleasure.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of animals, and Dawkins says we are no different than any animals. A lot of animals don't do it for pleasure. They just do it because the genes told them to, I guess. I don't know.
I one time successfully bred a bulldog with a Shih Tzu.
Yeah?
Came out with a bullshit.
Oh, yeah?
Shout out to Dumb and Dumber, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's another good documentary. You guys should watch that. He says this is an extremely difficult question for the evolutionist to answer. Literally, and I find it really interesting that sex itself. I always thought that was like the strength of evolution. He says this is an extremely difficult question for the evolutionist to answer.
Yeah, because
why are we having sex?
If you think about sex as a pleasure contingency, that actually puts a interval in the idea of production, as in being, if I don't want to. Like if you're like a frog or something, they're not thinking, do I feel like it? Am I attracted? Like these ideas of emotional contingencies aren't there. They just do it. It's almost like automatic. There's no thinking. There's no contingencies. Like this has to happen. I have to want to, blah, blah, blah. So these humanistic ideas of pleasure, connection, attraction, whatever, these are barriers. Like they're somewhat of a quasi-resistance. Other animals, they just do it out of natural function.
The whole pleasure thing, he would explain that the pleasure is just a product of necessity.
What I'm saying is, since other animals don't care about pleasure, them for having reproductive functions, there's no barrier. Like it's going to be fluid. It's going to be fast, and this is why they can have a lot. They're not thinking about nothing. There's no contingency barriers. But for a human, if we think about humans as being there's layers to it, then it's like, well, yeah, it's not a very effective means, because we're actually saying, I have this layer before the layer. Like a frog is not going to do that. They're just going to do it, and there's going to be a lot of babies, a lot of stuff happening because they don't have any barriers to reproduction. But for a human, if we think pleasure is a part of a sequence, well, there's just one more extra thing that could be an inefficiency.
I don't see how. Well, I guess I'm not. Maybe I'm not.
What I'm saying is that it makes sense that you could think that it's an inefficiency.
I don't think
it's interesting that there's a direct correlation between how simple the mating ritual is and how stupid the creature is. Like the more complicated that ritual is, the more intelligent the creature. I bet you there's a correlation there.
Well, he would obviously say that the pleasure part of it is probably because we started developing this idea that maybe we don't need to procreate, but now that this is the way we have to procreate as a human species, from coming from chimps to humans, somewhere along the lines, the genes that had more pleasure senses or caused more pleasure senses were the ones that did it more often, and therefore the ones that did not have any pleasure doing it, they just said, well, who cares? Why do I need to mate? We got plenty of genes out here. Why do I really need to mate? They started, their frontal lobe started developing a little too much. They started getting more philosophical and not enough, we need to, do things and procreate. Because that's more part of the whole procreation thing is part of that lizard brain. It's the underdeveloped part of the brain. But so once you start grabbing or evolving in the frontal lobe, though, you start thinking, well, maybe it's not necessary. So those ones just died off, while the ones who started saying, well, it's necessary because it feels good, the genes that did that, they associated pleasure with it. It started developing pleasure. Those are the ones that, but it still doesn't answer the question why sex exists on an evolutionary stance. Like,
well, you would have to assume if the only other byproduct would be self-production, self-reproduction, like being
genetic diversity.
Yeah, I mean, you would have, because what it'd be is like, because your genes and like your mother genes and your father genes combine, creating better genes, because you have better chances of not getting these bad genes. But if you were able to self-replicate, you wouldn't really have the ability to get new genes. So if I was like, let's say a hermaphrodite or something, and somehow I was able to reproduce with myself, not saying that's how it works, but just assuming that, and I didn't need to find a partner.
I know, I've tried. Come on now, fellas.
Assuming I didn't need a partner to reproduce, my genes would just be replicating itself infinitive, and that would end up being a bunch of bad genes at some point. So I think the causational issue is we need better genes, so there has to be a means to get external genes instead of self-replicating.
If your genes were good, they would just always be good.
No, well, environment plays a big part in how it manipulates your genes, just like I saw with the mice experiment. Mm-hmm. So once you have bad experiences, you start manipulating these genes, damaging genes, and then you start replicating bad genes, and eventually you're going to eradicate.
You're assuming too much, but I'll let their...
Well, what are you assuming? That's literally how
that's
it
just
works.
a fact.
No, it's
that
not.
Environment plays in the damaging of
you
your
don't
genes.
think that
the environment
you don't think that
damages the genes.
It does.
And that it doesn't have to.
But it does. Like the mouse experiment, the environment.
Well, then why would
genes.
you age? Why would you age if it didn't? It doesn't have to. Name another example where it doesn't actually do that. And don't say a tree.
But yes, they are.
The genes aren't aging. Your body is aging. Your body is a vehicle.
What do you think your body's
according
made
to the
of?
study, the genes are actually aging, and they have to remove the gunk from the genes.
Yeah, they acquire gunk, and the genes. If
it's the genes that are getting older.
So Dawkins calls it lethal genes. He says genes that have a time limit on them are called lethal genes, and those genes have a time limit. And once that time limit is reached, those genes cause your whole system to fail. Those lethal genes.
You're talking about telomeres, basically.
What's that?
You're basically talking about telomeres.
I don't know what a telomere is.
Look it up.
Telegram is.
Yeah.
Look it up. Seriously, it's what you're describing. It's basically like you ever hear somebody talking about the length of the telomere, and then when you get to the end of it, it's basically like the time limit where you die. You've probably heard of that, host, right?
It's 120 years. Is
yeah.
length.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it's what you're describing.
Well, yeah, in our current position, but that quote unquote telomere could be expanded if we started taking actions. Two theories that I guess host is pointing out that they're already enacting on one thing that he was saying. Well, it's not him. I guess it was Metawar's theory. But anyway, your genes though aren't being your lethal genes are either going to you either have lethal genes or you don't. So my genes right now are not being damaged by the environment, not all of them, and they can be damaged by the environment, but they could also be stronger. Like like the thing that host is pointing out, for example, if you scare a rat and you scare it or hurt it enough, it imprints into the gene. So that way the future rats will avoid that danger. So it actually saves the gene's immortality.
Yeah, but it's embedded in the genes.
Yeah, so that gene actually preserves its own immortality by avoiding the danger signs that were accompanied by the previous vehicle that it was driving in. The previous vehicle crashed and died, but the gene is still alive. It just got a new vehicle.
So they're adapting. So basically, it is environment, is what you're saying, essentially, which means if mommy and daddy
That's what I just said,
have sex...
That's what I just said.
Well,
yes,
you were talking about why people have sex, right?
Host was making the claim that the environment is doing only bad to your genes.
I didn't say only, but I'm saying environment plays a part in your gene manipulation.
I agree to that. But when you say it only does bad to your genes, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't say only does bad.
Okay, then there's no problem. So again, we're back to square one.
But what they called this is called epigenetic markers. It's not so much lethal genes. They call it, there's markers on your genes, and this happens when you get old. And what they have to do is erase these epigenetic markers, and that's what they call the gunk on your genes. And that specifically has to do with aging. Not so much that it's genetical. this just happens by default. As you get older, your genes, by environment, interaction, they create these markers on your genes. And then these genes create all this, I guess we'll call noise. So if you want to get back to a young state, you got to erase all those markers. So basically it's like, I didn't have all these environmental experiences. I didn't have all this stuff. And now you get back to like virgin state. And so you erase all those markers, and that's how you get back to a younger gene.
And that's what Dawkins says. And he actually says, this is page 51, he says, a gene that makes its possessors die is called a lethal gene. A semi-lethal gene has some debilitating effects, such that it makes death from other causes more probable. Any gene that exerts its maximum effect on bodies at some particular age of life, and lethals and semi-lethals are not exceptions.
Aren't they all lethal then?
Not all of them. He says there's lethals and semi-lethals. But yeah, like what Host is saying, and is what Dawkins says, that these lethal genes, it's almost like they know that the time is up when they reach a certain number of plaque on it or whatever.
This research isn't really going around that marker. What it's emphasizing is environmental implications.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
And they're not like set at a time where they become lethal. They're saying that through your experiences in life, and it couldn't be contributive, like if you take drugs or something else, it implants these markers, literally like a timestamp, on your genes. And then that itself those markers actually are what passed on genetically. So if you want to erase and get back to a young state, you have to just erase those markers.
That's what he says to do.
But it's not something that it's like some time release. Like eventually it's going to happen.
He explains all that. So what he says is you have this lethal gene that says once you reach the age of 25, of course your genes don't have numbers like we do, years and all that stuff. It just knows somehow, and we can say based on how many nicks it has in it, how much coffee stains it has on it, whatever. At that point in time, it activates once it reached that full capacity. And he says one of the ways you can fix that, this is the second theory he proposes, is you clean those lethal genes off, making them believe that they're still 1 year old. They're not 25 anymore. They're now 5 years old, so they have another 20 years still. But if you don't do that, then it's just going to take its toll. And this could happen in your liver. Like, let's say your liver, the genes in your liver start going bad, and now it's going to start causing all kinds of other malfunctions throughout the rest of your body. It's going to have this domino effect to the rest of your entire body. So he says,
were you just talking about sex? Isn't that where we started here?
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out why sex is a thing in evolution.
Right.
If you believe in evolution, you have to figure out what to do with sex.
Okay, wait a minute. I haven't said anything in a while listening to you guys, but I want to interject. First of all, I think Dawkins was saying there's a more efficient or maybe effective way of transferring genetic material between two organisms than the idea of intercourse. That's the impression I got what you were saying. So where the question is, well, why didn't evolution come up with a better or different system to, have our genes joined together from two organisms than male and female, basically? So, you're going back to the idea that you need a female component and a male component. And this is true of almost everything, including plants. There are male and female plants. They need to combine in order to create new ones. Why is it the way it is? Why are our ears shaped the way they are? I mean,
to capture sound better.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I mean, I guess my point I'm trying to make is it's an argument that's difficult to have, because you're talking about evolution or you're talking about intelligent design. So, either way, obviously there was something built into this for a reason. Either, evolutionary, it saw that there was a system that needed to take place that would work.
Maybe it has something to do with the nature between male and female, right?
Well, and evolution doesn't even really work, because when you think about it, and they say, that we came from, say, pond scum, or this mass that was in space or whatever, something had to have created that. So it's like,
Well, you can have
I
both.
I didn't want to take the religious view. I'm trying to keep it secular.
Okay, so then why would men and women are different in every aspect? Because they both each serve a purpose. That's why one's like caring for a thing and nurturing a thing, and the other one's out hunting or defending or whatever. And they both have different hormone profiles to perform that action, right? So it's
Right.
about survivability still.
Yeah, I mean, and I disagree with Dawkins when he says that we're just animals. I really disagree with that very strongly. Whether or not you're a person of faith or not, I mean, even if you're a human secularist, I think you would agree that humans are higher on the scale than animals. Even our closest relative, we are much farther above what they are. And I think that if I think of it this way: if we were animals and we behaved as animals, we would have outpopulated the Earth, probably, millennia ago, because we would have no sense of
self.
Yeah, I mean, we would just be, oh, look, there's a female. I'm going to go mate with it. I mean, that's
Right.
what animals do.
I think dolphins put a big
difference with
quandary
animals,
in that.
though. Hold on. The difference with animals is they have a shorter lifespan, and they're also more susceptible to prey. So they need to populate quicker in order for the environment to continue going. But you do see areas where the environment is upset, and then they start overpopulating, and when that whole balance is upset. So again, I think there's a balance in things, but I think that if humans were behaving like animals, number one, we'd be eating our young. And number two, yeah, I think we would have overpopulated the planet, that it would have just been done. We would have been done with.
People thinking about the future is a big component to why, even if we are considered animals, we're the furthest cry from, and like there's not a close second. They act like there is, but it's like, no, there isn't. Name one. And they go, well, it's because
you should really look into dolphins. I mean, them jokers have figured out how to. They do things out of pure pleasure. Like they figured out, if I want to get high, I'm going to go mess with this blowfish, and they share it around.
They mate with the same mate.
No, they don't. They rape women. They rape their female. They actually gang rape, and they'll do it all the time volitionally. They'll premeditate it. They are pleasure-seeking animals. They do things just for pleasure. They actually get high for pleasure.
You could be a female duck.
They actually share the blowfish, and they pass it along, and then you see them. Like there's documentaries, you see them like this.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I know what you're talking about.
Dolphins got no scruples.
So to respond, what Elder was saying to what Elder was saying. Dawkins actually has a lot to say about that. In his gene studies and research, the genes themselves, the reason there are lethal genes is a fail-safe because of overpopulation and upsetting the balance. Too much, not enough food in an environment cause lethal genes to happen. And even when genes are not lethal, you'll see things like the mother eating the young because they don't have enough food to provide for.
Well, by that logic, then why do people even get too fat? Wouldn't they be able to eat enough McDonald's to live forever? Because their lethal genes wouldn't be turning on?
Well, not only that, think about African countries that have famine, where people are starving. You don't see them eating one another. I mean, yes, there are cannibals. I mean, there's tribes of cannibals, but I'm talking about generally. There are places that experience starvation and famine, and they're not.
That's because they're all skinny. That's because they're all going through famine and they're all skinny, so they know they really ain't much of a meal between each other.
They're just keto.
Wow, there it is. That's where the keto diet came from.
Grandma's calf, you know what I mean? Jeez.
I'm just saying we don't hear about this, you know.
With African tribes being
if they're
dying
too poor to
off
afford a meal, they're probably too poor to afford a phone to even put it on live stream. You know, is my guess.
Well, they do. Some of those people, they are live streaming from Africa. that they don't have food. But yeah, and maybe
They're like,
fake.
I'm starving, but I had to spend my $45 on my Straight Talk card so I can make this video. Go fund me.
There are, yeah, they call it click click. They have a they have a there's an element where you become like a bit animalistic, right? But like there's still an element where you kind of become an idiot if you overeat or you would like. I think that a lot of his arguments fall flat because you could just throw a wrench right into them. Not every single one of them.
About Dawkins, I
throw
haven't
a wrench
heard
right
anything
through him at this rate.
Dawkins,
I haven't heard anything that you guys said so far that disagrees with anything he's saying. He actually mentions a lot of this stuff in his book as proof for what he's saying. And a lot of scientists have read this thing and endorsed it and have wrestled with it. He actually made another edition to respond to them and even point to himself as they're praising his work and all that. But he actually tells when he's wrong.
By challenging it. That's hilarious. What a fucking psycho. Yeah.
Well,
you
scientists
suck. You actually love me. That's what the problem is.
No, the scientists challenge his propositions, and he gives answers to their rebuttals.
The lady challenges advances, and the guy believes he's hot shit.
What I thought was really cool, and you should know this, Tom, if you read this, which I know you have a while back, but you got to reach far back in the recesses of your mind. This guy, I was shocked at how much this guy actually says he was wrong about this and wrong about that. Like, there's so many things almost in every chapter he actually says, and I'm embarrassed to even say that I made this claim here, but I was wrong. In the second edition, he actually says, he leaves it in there, what he said, on purpose, so you can see how wrong he was. And then he says, I was wrong. These anthropologists do study this thing, and they do correct me on this point. And he actually admits when he's wrong several times.
If you'd like to, we can bring up all the biologists that disagree with him and say he's too much of a reductionist, especially the extended evolutionary synthetics theory.
Sure.
But I don't think I'm saying if you guys want to recover this again, but apparently there is a lot of people that say he was too reduction. And it was too early in the primacy. Like it's a foundational primacy of genetic theory, but now in 2026, a lot of things have now evolved.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm reading now. So you guys can look up. It's called the EES, the Extended Evolutionary Synthesis, and they by E.O. Wilson.
But just by sheer reason, and again, I'm not a geneticist, so by sheer reason, I haven't found anything I disagree with in what he's saying. As far as even if you disagree with the evolution part, I don't see why we have to disagree with everything else.
Well, I think the argument makes sense linearly. If I think about what he's saying, like linearly, logically, yeah, selfishness plays a big part. But then, when it comes to stuff like the science, there's a lot of things that are nonlinear. Like, it doesn't have to make sense to be true. And I think that's where the difficulty comes, is like when we start advancing, things become nonlinear. And it doesn't make sense, but that doesn't mean it's not true.
Right. He didn't have the microscopes that we have today.
A lot of stuff.
It's a lot like, I know everybody here loves Freud and Skinner and them.
Yeah.
But the behavioralists, they were studying that stuff, and they noticed a lot of patterns, which I respect because I'm a pattern recognizer too. I can see patterns. But they didn't have the science to actually look at our neurons. But now they do. And, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, though.
No, because that's what they're saying. He sets the fundamentals back in 76 with the primacy of the genetic theory and how we need to focus on those things as in the future for our human species. But, of course, stuff with AI and anything else, the advancement of where that's going to take you, well, that's a long time ago. And so now...
Well, when you were just saying that things don't have to make sense, right? What do you mean?
Well, there's like nonlinear thinking. Like if I tell you, if I explain to you an equation, like of some sort, and it doesn't make logical sense that this is why the conclusion is an answer of something.
So like quantum physics type of...
Well, that can be, but then that just goes back to Yeah, I guess you could say, like, is there interaction patterns comparative to, like, what is a wave? Like the theory of an electron. Is there a bunch of electrons, or is there only one super electron, and all these little electrons you're seeing are actually just interactions? And so what you're doing is measuring. The measurement point is what you see. But anyways, so yeah, there's things that are like, it doesn't make intuitive sense, but that doesn't mean it's not true. And how we know it's true or not is because we can produce something. So when you produce a product, you can figure out how everything has to, like, you fit the puzzle pieces in, but you don't have to it doesn't have to make intuitive sense that it has to be this way. You've just figured out this is how it has to be. This is the mode. It doesn't mean it has to be intuitive.
Which is why you would study anything to
right.
watch how it
At
reacts.
some point, it's so all this works. But that doesn't mean it's intuitive. We want intuitiveness because that makes sense to everybody. It just makes sense, like common sense. But all truth isn't just common sense.
No, theories are usually where it starts, and then when it's studied, it gets carried out. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is when you start breaking down the technicals, I think that's where the difference becomes. It's like there's intuitive levels, and we all appreciate that. And I think there's a lot to appreciate about the intuitiveness, but then of course as advancement happens, it's going to go beyond human comprehension at some point. I think it's just going to be AIs talking to AIs.
Colleague, you said at some place in the book Dawkins uses the variable S. Do you know what he uses that for? What would it defined as?
If I remember right, it was the. Oh yeah, in his, well, not his, but the guy he's borrowing from this theory, removing S. Let's see. Assimilating. Second, we could try. Okay, let me see real quick. Practice would mean anything. I'll just read this paragraph or this little sentence. The interesting point is that chemical signals of old age need not any normal sense of deleterious in themselves. They don't need to be deleterious in themselves. For instance, suppose that it incidentally happens to be a fact that a substance, S, is more concentrated in the bodies of old individuals than of young individuals. Like what Host was reading on what they're just finding out in 2026, pretty much. So that's more concentrated in old bodies than younger bodies. S in itself might be quite harmless, perhaps some substance in the food which accumulates in the body over time. But automatically, any gene that just happened to exert a deleterious effect in the presence of S, but which otherwise had a good effect, would be positively selected in the gene pool, and would in effect be a gene for dying of old age. So the cure would be to remove S from the body.
That's interesting because S is it's a fundamental concept in science. It's entropy. Entropy is represented by the letter S in science. So what he's saying basically is remove entropy from the genes, and you would be able to live longer, which makes perfect sense because everything. What he's saying is we need to combat entropy because entropy is the enemy. Everything in the universe is affected by entropy. There's nothing that doesn't wear down. Even the strongest material on Earth will eventually break down.
I don't know, man. I heard the diamond is forever.
Yeah.
You said what happened to slavery?
But if she ain't gonna live forever, why should I get her a diamond?
Well, yeah.
Whoa.
I was on a roll here.
Sorry. Go ahead. I had to. I've been quiet for 10 minutes without a word.
I don't know. He brings up a good point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr.
I'm not saying
Elder.
it's
What were you saying?
philosophically, you bring up a good point. What I was trying to say is that entropy is going to affect everything, including our genes, our cells, everything.
Yeah, but they repair.
only to a certain point.
Right, but they don't have to. Like, if I always fixed my vehicle and replaced it with new parts constantly, then even if it was to, there would be no certain point. You're putting new stuff on all the time, so things wear out. I put new things on.
The only thing that fights that construct,
everybody's talking at the same time.
Yeah, there's a discussion where the ship, I forget what it was called, but the ship where everything was changed out on the ship, and is it still the same ship because everything was changed on it?
Right.
Yeah, but the problem becomes entropy. Even though you can replace everything infinitive, the issue isn't that you can still negate entropy, because the replacement is actually a dependency on entropy on resources, and that you can't replace for infinitive. So even though you could replace parts, you can't produce trees forever, or you can't produce, whatever forever. Entropy's still going to play somewhere. There's no free lunch.
Yeah, I was going to say, to add what Host is saying, you'd have to remove energy itself. You'd have to remove friction, because that's what's causing the breakdown, the wear and the tears of friction. Your organs rubbing on other organs, or just increase the reproduction, not the growth, repair rate, of these cells.
Well, forget all that. Let's just say they just print you a new body, and somehow they figured out to put your consciousness in it. That's fine. You're still not going to get away from entropy and resources.
It's funny.
Yeah, but it would be a lot more efficient, is the point.
Yeah, sure. But I'm saying there's no escape. Like, at some point, resources will be the end game of all when it comes to entropy.
I don't need to fully escape, about that. That's okay.
If you're actually transferring your genes into your children's bodies. They actually have the same gene that you have. They have that same gene. But you're not conscious. You're not actually in your kids' bodies, though. You're not actually there consciously.
Jesus.
Well, you're not. Sounds like a yoga.
Just a clone of you.
So you're not actually inside of your kids' bodies, though. You're not consciously inside your kids' bodies, but your genes are. So let's say they took your genes and they put them in a replica. If they took your genes and put them in a replica, you wouldn't be conscious anymore, any more than you're conscious inside your kid's body. Like, after you die. Because I've thought about that, like how much of the genes actually retain your quote unquote consciousness. Like, if
we don't know.
Well,
I mean, they talk about stuff like race memory, and it's the idea of accessing it.
What kind of memory?
Race memory.
Like race car?
Like I know what color I am.
Like your ancestors accessing the knowledge that they passed down. In other words, there's information in the genes, in the DNA.
So like Avatar?
Consciousness, like literally like consciousness, but we just haven't been able to access it. So that we could kind of experience what our ancestors experienced.
This is a tough debate, because there's a difference between memory and consciousness. See, memory is intertwined within movements and interaction. Like your brain, the memory is correlated with its function of the arm. So when your arm does something, there's actually a habituational memory with your arm too. And so it's not just it's all in your brain. There's an interactional experience too. So there's memory intertwined in your arm as well as your brain. It's just not.
But that's stored in the brain.
Yeah, but it's not universal. Like, they don't. That's why they can't right now just take your brain and put it in somebody else and just assume that it's all going to transmit into fluid function. Like, oh yeah, and he's going to be able to move his arms.
Yeah. Well, look at
he very well may not be, because there's no path to connect.
It's stored in like it seems like it's an efficiency thing for like instincts versus like consciousness.
Yeah, we don't know what consciousness is, though.
Yeah, like the rat experiment.
Well, it isn't breathing. It isn't. It's things that you're aware of at the very least.
Right.
That's a great point. The rat experiment proves that animals have instinct that can be passed along. That's how they learn things. That's how they survive. Humans don't have that. We do
have that. They have both.
Do we?
We have both. We have both.
I don't agree.
You don't think you get instincts? Yeah. Well, then what would traumatic memories imprinted on your DNA be? It's the same thing, is it not?
So, Elder, think about this. Here's an example. Like, you ever go into like a dark room and the hair on the back of your shoulders stands up, and you're like, you don't really know what's going on. It just feels off. Something feels off. Now that could be just subconscious. Maybe you're just scared of the dark or something. I don't know. But some people could
dark
make an
is usually
argument.
cold too, so I mean, it usually.
It's also Zambia.
I get
really
that. That
hairy.
makes perfect sense. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is, in terms of a species, if you leave a baby, if you just leave a baby lying on the ground, it's not going to like go seek food. It's not going to seek shelter. Like, it is helpless. Most animals, when they have young,
Yeah, you're right with that. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long before they're self-sufficient and they can go. And it's not like there's a communication. Like, we teach our children.
There's a longer development process.
Yeah,
for
Who taught the
humans.
baby to cry though?
But our life cycle's
Well,
longer too. Our life
yeah.
cycle's way longer, right?
Oh,
So
absolutely. Which is what
that's-
I said earlier about reproduction. The reason why
Exactly.
animals reproduce. Yeah.
Shout out to the elephant.
I still think, and I think the turtles.
Yeah, there you go.
There's, I just think there's more to it there. I think that I don't think humans have exactly what would be considered instinct in the fact that even if, I wonder if you, this is an experiment, but if you took a human being from birth and made sure that it at least had enough sustenance that it could get to a point where it could literally feed itself or whatever, like, what would it do if it didn't have any instruction?
Well,
Like,
you
what
just
would it
read
do without
that.
instruction?
You read that novel by forgot the author's name, starts with an A. His last name does, but Brave New World. They tried that, right?
Aldous Huxley.
Yeah, Huxley.
I never read Brave New World. Interesting. I read 1984, but not Brave New World.
Yeah, they wanted to eradicate all emotion.
Oh,
which would make you an idiot.
It's not far from the conclusion.
It would. They're
it's
important.
not far from the
Like,
conclusion. Well, Huxley was trying to warn people about this is where eugenics is going to eventually lead you into this weird paradigm. But
yeah, so that they can control you, not because it's good or helpful. They try to convince people that's helpful. And it's insane.
I think if you left a human to its own devices, it would be an extremely emotional being. I think it wouldn't know how to control its emotions. I think anything that it experienced, it would express emotionally. I think the intellect would be stunted.
Well, that's interesting too, because intellect is a
interesting,
genetical bypass, and you can't really do anything how the brain is developed. So I guess it would be like, so you have to put somebody. Somehow you got to figure out the neutrality of the brain structure, create that really proprietary human, and then test it. Because if not, if you put an intellectual brain and put them out there, they just might be intuitive, and they just might find ways because their brain is developed that way.
Also, curiosity plays a big role in what you just said. Like depending on the curiosity of the individual and how much they get burned from being either curious or it rewarding them is also going to play a huge role there too.
Well, one thing I want to say, so I don't sound like I, pooped all over Dawkins. This dissertation was concluding. It says the rebuttal isn't that Dawkins was altogether wrong about genes being very important, but he was incomplete. Science has moved from the gene-centric view, which is Dawkins' view, that genes drive everything, to an interactionalist view, which is genes, development, environment, and culture drives evolution altogether. Dawkins believes that genes is the sculptor and the body is the clay, while now they believe genes is a list of ingredients. The cells are the chef, and the environment is the kitchen, and the chef can change the recipe on the fly.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. I think Dawkins may have been, and maybe these guys have the other persuasion, Dawkins was a determinist, a biological
He was a specialist.
determinist.
He was focused on one thing.
They call it geocentric view. That's a Dawkins view. It's all about the genes drive everything.
Yeah. That may be the that modern person's view.
Well,
there are people saying that back then. In his day, he was also wrestling with the
Colley's a bit of a classic, man.
Yeah, I like this stuff.
Well, I think it's all integrative. I think, we don't want to live in an echo
agree.
chamber. So, reading the varieties of diversity and these kind of things is important.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm not saying that he's
I'm not saying that,
disagreeing with whoever wrote this
Well, it's
or
a collective.
today.
This is like the modern emphasis now.
Yeah, what I'm saying, if they're saying you can change it on the fly.
And they're saying not you. They're saying cells. Cells are the chef. The
Okay.
environment is the kitchen.
Yeah.
And the chef, the cells, can change it, but the genes are the ingredients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I just assumed that they were the biological non-determinists. Because he goes against them as well.
No, they're saying it's still deterministic because you can't control what happens in the environment.
Right.
You can't control if you get sick and your cells start degrading.
Your cells are controlled.
Right, but it's the cells that are the chef. The environment is the kitchen, and your genes are the ingredients.
Yeah. Yeah, the way I see it, it's like, reading, again, like Skinner or something, which is what you guys were just saying. I think it was Elder or Tom was just saying that we were trained based on positive and negative reinforcements and stuff. They developed this idea just from watching behaviors. That's why they're called behavioralists. But yeah, now we know a lot more. It's not like modern psychologists are disagreeing with those guys. They're just adding to it. And yeah, maybe they got a lot of things wrong, but the core idea seems to be the same.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty about intuitiveness. Like, those patterns should be obvious, and we should accept those patterns, and that should help us a lot of the way. But that's not going to get you all of the way because there's so many things you can't see. It's just like back in the day when they didn't understand germs. So there's some things that are intuitive that should take you some way, but there's some points where new things are going to be non-intuitive, and that's going to take you to the next path. And then, of course, this is probably progressive in some sense.
Doesn't it seem like it's obvious that it's going to be a mixture of things? There's going to be some sort of like, it just has always seemed obvious to me that, of course, that's the case, because what would they be reacting to? Of course, they're going to be reacting to an environment. There's going to be a mediary to transfer the information to then imprint or dynamically change the static thing that transfers from person to person or thing to thing or whatever. Like it just seems obvious that that's all science. There is
I think the reason why they even care about it now is because now they're figuring a way to bypass it all. So like IVG.
Sure.
IVG says we don't need men and female anymore, and I talked about this before. IVG is saying we can create sperms and eggs through stem cells. So if you have a homosexual relationship and you want a child, you can actually have your child, because we can have stem cells and we can create an egg and a sperm without a male and female, which is
But I've heard that this concept is when okay, I'm sure this is a little fringe, but I've heard that the reason why that hasn't really fully taken off is because the result dies faster.
Well, it's just like anything. It's just like people who, do traditional IVF, the chances are there and there's no guarantees. I mean,
no. From stem cells, it's different. That's what I'm saying. Like
stem cells, it's interesting because they can regenerate to anything.
Interesting questions. If I was the doctor that was putting that together, imagine you had two gay dudes that were like, well, we want a boy. We're like, well, do you want it to be a boy that wants to be a boy, or do you want it to be a boy that wants to be a girl?
I mean, you could. I mean, if they could find, I don't know. I don't know if there's like a sexual proclivity gene.
Really big on that one.
They could probably make it the gene without reproductive organs.
Yeah, I mean, they could probably do something like that if they really wanted to. But all I'm saying is that the interesting thing about stem cells is that it's the only thing that can regenerate to any cell. So I get what I'm saying is the objective. Why I think they care so much about this is that now it's like playing God. All right, so you have genes.
I was just going to say,
yeah,
playing God.
Right, it's like you have these genes. Like Dawkins saying it's gene centric, so we got to deal with the genes. Well, that's
maybe it's just in our nature, though. That's the other thing people don't seem
absolutely. I think it's absolutely our nature.
Right. So maybe it's not the worst thing, and since we're such a far cry from everything else on this planet, and it's our nature to want to manipulate everything, and it hasn't really been that negative. I mean, worshiping, my personal belief about religion to an extent is I don't believe in a book fundamentally as much as I believe in studying the thing that God would have created, and you get rewarded for that bigger. Like if I discover air conditioning, I'm not hot anymore.
Tom, why do you always bring out the best wine last? You always
bringing the best drugs.
Because we're just getting going, baby. Let's do another 4 hours.
Yeah, we're about to just get going right now. That's what I'm saying.
We're about to hit this climax.
Here you go. Dude, you're gonna.
Well, anyways, that's what I was
No,
saying. Is I
forget
think
about
the
it
reason
next
why they
week.
care about any of this is because they're finding a point now. We can bypass the environment. We can bypass the human reproduction. We can bypass just the passing on of genes. Once they have figured out the full emphasis of like through CRISPR, like everything about the genes, we can do this all in the lab. We don't have to worry about the environment either. We could do this with stem cells. We don't need male and female anymore. So at this point, why they even care, I think, is because now they're saying,
Which might totally kick ass.
Yeah, look, if it can prevent my back pain or something, I'm not going to complain about that, right?
No. What the good that can come out of it is that we could go into the stars. Really, if you really think about it, like if you can increase your lifespan that far, you can have more than one Earth.
Well, the stars are nothing but gas. I mean, I could just go into the bathroom after somebody else had toilet time and go experience the same thing.
That's just Jupiter, Jeremy. Just
Probably get
Jupiter.
as high as the stars too.
Nah, it's Uranus. Anyway,
That's true.
it would be like why is it we keep convincing ourselves that it's unnatural to be able to do that, and I don't understand that thinking. That doesn't make sense to me.
Tom, it's like any tool that we've ever created. You know, from when we had a bone that we could use to break open food, but would then use it to kill somebody. You can use something for good or something for bad.
Sure, but I'm talking to you because of that. So like the reason why those technologies are good is because we can sit here and talk shit and, you know, call each other gay and stuff. It's really important.
So it's good to try to, we should definitely work on upgrading mankind so that they can, you know, resist the cold of space and the radiation in space so that we can live longer, so that we could go find another planet. So when this one goes to crap, then we have an alternative to go to.
Or maybe we just want a second house in Zeta Reticuli. Maybe that's it. What's wrong with that?
Facing the sun, man.
Man can just never be satisfied. We always want more and more and more.
You're goddamn right.
I'm not going to go, I don't want to go too deep on the spiritual aspect of it, but if you think about it, like Lucifer didn't want to be like God, he wanted to be God. And in a sense, we kind of as people, as species, like we're the same way. Why do we want to go to space? Why can't we be content with this Earth? Why do we want more and more and
Why
more?
not? Why not though? And we've done more and more and more. Now you can just eat food in your kitchen and talk shit to me and smoke a cigarette, where before in any other time in history you can't do that shit.
And it was thanks to the space race. It's because they had to find a way to make the computer smaller to fit on a spacecraft. We now have, you know, micronization, and we have computers that we use as phones. So
That's what I try to tell my
I agree with
girlfriend.
you.
Micronization. Stop fucking calling me names.
Not
all right?
everything is good.
I'm from the
when you
future,
talk about
bitch.
Micronization.
That's not my problem.
Tom, sometimes bigger is better.
Sometimes for someone else. Ask colleague. He's a size queen. He does. That's why we don't get along.
And I'm not gay. Okay.
Yeah.
I
really
know.
not.
I know.
Hey, listen, he's happy, but he's not.
Right.
Yeah.
He's happy.
I just
I'm-
want to
I'm
let
with
it make
you.
sure everybody knows I am not gay. I couldn't
That's
be
the
more
spirit,
straight.
colleague. Yell
Well,
it out.
I will say one
Shut-
thing. You know, I'm sitting here watching the dynamics here, and this is a very special place.
It's a not gay place.
I mean, we got homeboy over here showing us the backyards of the Boondocks. We got
Wouldn't have
Ted
that
over
without
here
advancement.
with the
Einstein.
yeah
behind
the organic chemistry behind him, and we got Tom over here telling us about size queens. I mean, this is a treat. This is a special place.
Now this is
if this was a gay environment, I would not be here. You guys have to know that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we know
right.
that.
Sure you wouldn't.
Yeah, well, I appreciate all you
I'll
guys.
vouch for you. I know that you're married and stuff. I'll tell your wife. Yeah, of course you can't stand it.
Well, she doesn't believe me either. So would you tell her?
And why is that, colleague?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I tell her
I
I'm
have
doing
kids.
everything straight guys do. I'm doing it right now.
You
Like
have
right
kids,
now.
man.
Does she believe you?
Unless they're
No.
adopted
Mm.
or gene experiments.
Yes.
I
don't know.
guess. I guess.
He read Dawkins, and then he started using the turkey baster because he's in the future.
Oh.
Turkey baster.
What did Jeremiah call it? He said palm gunk.
At least I hope it was a new clean one from Amazon, not the one from the kitchen.
Yeah, from this side of the aisle, you're saying.
Colleague, do your kids have any feathers at all? Do they look anything like a turkey? Anything? Little waddle underneath.
Colleague hangs
I
up.
have to really think about it.
Turkey
Sorry,
before
dude.
it's cooked or after it's cooked? Are we
couldn't
talking about
resist. I'm
white
sorry.
skin or dark
It's getting
skin?
hot in here.
I have a quick question for host and colleague. There's someone in the chats. It looks like a new name. I was just wondering if you guys recognize it or if it's someone new coming in.
Who's
they
that?
have some interesting things to say.
Who?
It's long. Third, I'm not even going to try. Third Eye Sound Schmittis? I don't know.
Chemist.
Jewish guy.
Chemist.
Here we go.
Third Eye Sounds Chemist. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Sounds like we're cooking up some Illuminati batches.
Or some.
Back to
Yeah, we
meth
didn't even
again.
get to
Here we
address
go.
that. You know, he posted some good stuff.
Who?
This
Yeah.
Third Eye
Oh, the chemist.
chemist.
Address
Yeah.
it, please.
You should come back next week. It's the
What'd he
same
say?
time. I don't know what time zone you're in, but
What'd he say?
Central Time. It's usually around 3 p.m. So come back next Thursday.
Yeah,
And,
4 Eastern Time, just so you know.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll try to address all
you
those
guys must
things.
be living out in a mountain somewhere.
It's wherever the straight people live. That's where we're living.
Yeah, we live inside of the Permian Basin in Texas.
You're
That's
in the
why we
oil.
have a lot of gas. There's a lot of fractional divisions going on over here.
Hey, look,
It
I'm
doesn't
coming
get
for
any
you,
more
buddy.
straight than this.
Yeah, we're straight pipe.
Don't start talking about fracking. Your wife is definitely not being convinced after that conversation. We're talking about Texas. We're talking about Texas tea. Had nothing to do with anything gay.
Talking about Texas toast.
Yeah, you actually sounded like that character on
Texas
there.
toast is good.
Well, David Zerm wants to leave everybody out with a good word. He says having kids is gay.
Hey.
Hi. Maybe David's from Canada.
Maybe he's having
Gay,
kids with guys.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I appreciate you guys all chiming in. It's been fun. I always sit back and watch this like as a narrational view. It's like this is a special place. Like this dynamic is very unique, and I don't know if you can curate this in any other place. So
He sits back and he goes, "Look at what I've built."
Look at
yeah, I was like, man, this
my
is
creation.
this is really cool.
We should have called this, instead of the Matrix Network, you could have called it the Petri Dish.
Yeah, why not?
Ooh, that's a good one.
At this point.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I appreciate you guys. You guys all tune in back next week, and Third Eye Sound Chemist. Tune in next week. I know David Zern will be here as always. Appreciate you always chiming in. Yeah, Noah Cloud.
No Cloud. Yep.
Yeah, we got to get him back on.
back on.
We got to get him back on to the show too. Yep. But I appreciate all of you guys as always, and Jeremy over there eating his noodles. That's like becoming a ritual now.
Sloppy Joes now.
Oh,
wow, that joker's
man, you're making me
nonstop.
hungry. I'm going to go eat dinner.
Yeah.
Same.
But anyways, I appreciate all you guys, and as always, tune in next week, and we'll start again. But this Saturday, don't forget to tune in. Episode 190, Living in La La Land. It's a break from all of this stuff that we've been talking about, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. But until next time.
It's the straightest thing you can do.
That's Cully. I'm host, and we are out of here.
We are not gay.